Right? There's very good lighting. Look at the lighting. Isn't that good lighting?
Yeah.
Look at this yellow one. And look at this murals over here. Look at this amazing murals. You see? This is a really cool museum. What do you think? One of the best, huh? This is really one of the best museums. Look at the American Pride over here. And the Mustangs. The Mustangs. Look at all this stuff.
These are the Mustangs.
Yeah, the Mustang on the left side of the mural there. There's a Mustang.
This one.
That is a P-47. So this is the Palm Springs Air Museum. There's a Spitfire right there. This is the Palm Springs Air Museum and what it looks like inside. Palm Springs Air Museum. This is one of the coolest. And a lot of lighting inside. That's what's good with this Air Museum. A lot of lighting, big hangars, and they just added a hangar. Usi, did you hear that? They added a hangar. So that means financially they're doing very well. And did you hear what he said? $1,800 per ride if you want to ride in a P-51 Mustang, and it's 3 of them go a week is what he said. Yeah. So that's about about $6,000 a week they make with that.
Can you make a shot about this Invader there?
Invader. Well, there's a storm here. Big storm. There's an airplane right there. Big storm. Big storm here. More clouds here. Big storm clouds here. Lots of sun. Big sun. Big storm clouds. Big storm. Big storm here. Big storm. All this clouds of storm. Big storm here. Dark clouds. Dark black. Or dark gray. It looks like black here, but it's really kind of gray. It appears black. You call them black storm clouds, but it's really a dark gray. Wow, look at the storm over there. Over there is where it's maybe raining. I got sun. See, this is the revival of the culture. This is the revival of their original culture. This is the revival of their original culture. So there's a real Native American and the revival of the culture.
All this better. Make as much as you can on there.
Springs, there's a car sale, collection, museum thing, and everything is open. They encourage the people to actually look at it and look at it things here. This is an amazing 1941 truck. It's gonna be close a little better than that. There you go. 1941 flatbed truck. It's only $14,000. This is $14,000 for this. 2014. Some are $90,000, $50,000. A little Porsche here. It's a little 9 Porsche. It's only $12,000. It's $12,000 for this. $12,000 for this little Porsche. This is the most basic Porsche that was made. The others are nicer. The 944 is nice. The 928 is nice. That's the cheap one right there. Now this is $27,000. $27,000 for this. A real 50s car, two-door 50s car. Got some other stuff. A convertible here. And some 70s back there. 70s. Now look at this. Wheel chucks here. too much talking. Let's just get in the adventure here.
No, there's a shop here.
You still can come in. There are 2 seats.
I wouldn't be able to get the lift off if I'm inside of it. We need a cameraman on the ground.
Maybe
Right,
next
okay,
time
great.
When we come here, maybe we will.
Okay, so you're going to fly to the desert? Okay, cool. So fly to the desert. He'll take care of you. He'll be all right. Thank you, Usi. Usi, thanks for going with.
There is a movie, The Aviator. He wants to set it up.
Oh, the Aviator. I've seen the Aviator.
So, yeah, if you walk up on the black part of the wing, grab that handle up there.
Wing to have aerial view of Palm Springs.
No. You're flying to South America, something like that.
No.
Say something like that. Yeah. Remember, entertainment industry.
We can edit it later, okay?
There's no editing. It's
Okay,
whatever
Mike,
picks up
I'm
on screen.
looking forward to go in the plane now.
Okay, and you're going to meet Indiana Jones? You're going to land on the island? Okay?
Okay,
Yep. It's okay, go ahead. Let's go.
thank you. Bye.
Okay. You're welcome. Now say some lines.
Action.
Now say some lines. Talk, say something.
This
We're in the desert.
in the desert. This is my favorite hotel. Not we're in the desert. It's about to rain, so they say, and there's a train going by here.
The Hurricane Express. Did you ever see the Hurricane Express? 1932 movie. Or 1931, 1932, 1933. You gotta see that. It's the way it's done is flat. In front of the thing. Okay, very good. Very good. Okay, so this is the inside of the Palm Springs Air Museum. This is the inside, right? Isn't this amazing? So that is in Palm Springs. In Palm Springs, it's a Palm Springs Air Museum, and there's also the biplane rides, which is over there, which is also in the Palm Springs Air Museum. Now look, there's the Spitfire is right there. A Spitfire. Look at that. Spitfire. And the inside of this place is all lit up like this, very lit up, and it has these amazing murals. Palm Springs, you got the trees.
This is later even, yes. It up here. I think this is Santa Rosa.
San Bernardino. Palm Springs, the American flag. To Palm Springs. That's a great shot. Look, California Air National Guard. California Air Guard. So Palm Springs Air Museum. Palm Springs Air Museum. Palm Springs Air Museum. That's right. Nice place here, huh? Look at this nice place and the weather here. Look at this great weather here. Yeah, look at this great weather. It's stormy and stuff. Look at the storm over there. There's a massive storm over there. There's a big storm over there. This is amazing weather. We're so lucky. Let's go live somewhere where it storms constantly. This is red plants here, red flowers. Sun, we got storm. Filmmaking spot here. Wait, dude. Hi. He's nervous, but look at this neat truck. Wow, it's such a neat truck. Man. It's a big truck. Hi, dude. Invader, that is. I think it's World War II. That's the World War II.
Und da vorne sitzt wer? Ganz vorne. Ist das the gunner who sits in the front?
Bomb sight. Bomb sighter.
But he cannot shoot, the one who sits here?
With a bomb sighter.
There's an attack
Yep. Isn't it this way? This is Palm Springs Air Museum. Gotta check this out over here. That map right there. This is one of the most amazing air museums. I think they did a little bit of changes here and made it better here.
And it was machine gun clips that helped the Marines.
Now look at this aircraft identification thing from World War II. And so this is what I want to see. Look at these lights. They have a whole thing here. A European theater map here with actual lights lighting up. That's pretty amazing. The European theater. European theater map right here. And look at that. This is an amazing museum. Look at this. The European theater on this 100-foot wall here with the aircraft identification on that side, Allied fighters and bombers, and this one Axis fighters and bombers. Unbelievable. Well, this is it. This is the museum. Palm Springs Air Museum. Palm Springs Air Museum. And some Axis memorabilia. Wow. This is unbelievable. That's pretty unbelievable. Look at this. Axis memorabilia. And here's the Axis fighters. And this is it. So Palm Springs Air Museum. This by far one of the most amazing air museums. Has everything. I think they're actually pretty well financially because Palm Springs is pretty. The people there are doing pretty well. So wealthy people able to help fund this museum. Elites. You consider yourself. All right. You consider yourself elite if you know this information. Okay. These leaders were doing like we said, they were doing a national socialism movement here, which was a very, just a minute, a very positive movement. This was a positive movement where everybody has jobs, military rank, employment, reindustrialization, everybody happy, we're working again. National socialism, Nazi, national socialism. Everybody was happy that we're working again, we're building the country, this national socialism movement. But they were tricked. Just a minute. Yes, just a minute. They were tricked. Okay? By, in this case, a fascist leader who led them into war. They were tricked. See? Jobs, employment, national socialism. Like Obama. Like what Obama? National socialism. See? There's not, it's not free work, freedom capitalism. This was not freedom capitalism. This is a nationalized. Everybody must work. Everybody will be provided for. National socialism government, and they were tricked. And then most of these guys died. They were forced. They were already drafted into their positions and forced into war by the fat cats. Forced into going to war, and died fighting these battles. Most of the German soldiers died. Probably a lot of American soldiers died as well. Most of them got shot up and tricked by these leaders. So if you know that stuff, then you're kind of elite. You know that you're not involved with these. You're not in the military. You're not drafted in. You consider yourself elite. You're not a part of that. This drafting, not a part of this slave drafting in kind of thing. Obviously. It's a very clean museum, very nice, and this is worth it coming here, isn't it? Worth it coming here?
Oh, it's worth to come here.
Man.
They call them
Look at the little. These are Hornets. F-18 Hornets.
Hornets.
And some other ones too.
Oh, look at the folded wings everywhere.
Yeah, they fold up the wings. Mm-hmm. That's amazing. Look at that. And so this is a good quality museum. We're gonna make video to show it. Make video to show it now. Look at these. They have a lot of models here, and also full size, of course. Full size is the main thing. The models are really cool too, but they're models. Look at this. Here's a Korean Saber. The battery still goes for a little bit. Oh, it's a good classic car. So this way. This way. I'm gonna get cut by the Saber wing. I'm gonna go this way. This way. Okay, this way. This way. This way. This way. This way. This way. There's the exit. Looks like Arizona.
Shortly thereafter, in August 1911, Harriet Quimby became the first American woman licensed pilot.
Palm Springs Air Museum, not bad. Okay, and cut.
Mike, I think I want to go home that I can swim still in that nice weather. Then we're going back, huh? Oh, where is the new hangar? That's what we want.
It's the Dakota DC-3 C-47. The Catalina's over there now. Catalina was over there for a while. This is an active flying thing. They look like little toys. There is an actual Tomcat over here, just sitting here, ready for takeoff. Is there a guy in there? Just a minute. It's an actual Tomcat ready for takeoff over here. You can fly that one, or you can fly that one if you want. You can take the Tomcat out if you want. You can take this one, or the DC-3. A whole selection of different old stuff. Look at the Tomcat. That's unbelievable. Little Tomcat here. So this one, like toys, like little, like Tinker toys. You have the truck. You can take the truck out. Half-ton truck or 5-ton truck or whatever. Here's the truck. Take the truck. You could take this one here. This a little fast one here, a little fast thing. Fly around with that. And the big, heavy, fat one over here. It's like the wings fold down. You can take out that heavy, fat one a little bit. And then over here is a little, looks like a MiG-21 or something. A little, this might be a MiG-21, a little aero racer kind of thing.
Meine Güte. 1000 were produced.
Check this thing. Wow. The Palm Springs Air Museum has a new hangar. And so they're doing pretty well financially in Palm Springs. Economically, they're doing well in Palm Springs. So they can afford to keep their stuff going. So this is a really cool museum. They're doing a great job here. That's amazing. There's the front of it right there.
Mike, it's a supersonic interceptor. Oh boy, that is
Mm-hmm. On the side. Oh. Something here.
Mike, I have just thought of
Now say some lines.
action.
Now say some lines. Talk. Say something.
Say something.
We're in the desert.
In the desert, this is my favorite hotel. Not we're in the desert. It's about to rain, so they say, and there's a train going by here.
The Hurricane Express. Did you ever see the Hurricane Express? 1932
Where?
movie, or 1931, 1932, 1933. You got to see that. It's the way it's done is flat. Okay, how you doing?
A man, maybe it belongs to him, the Mustang. There was a man working on it. Probably it was costing him $60,000.
Who?
He's working on it. It
Really?
says it here, the owner of this. See, it says it here. No, what is it?
Okay, how you doing?
A man, maybe it belongs to him, the Mustang. There was a man working on it. Probably it was costing him $60,000.
Who?
He's working on it. It says
Really?
it here, the owner of this. See, it says it here. No, what is it?
A little bit faster. Schneller. Schneller, and look down like you're busy. There you go. There you go. Perfect. Now these movies, it's like there's always something happening in these movies. Yeah, it's a flat kind of movie. It's just flat. It's not like you're.
Stop this now.
Yes. It has no camera forward motion. That's why I call it a flat movie. You can see everything that's going on. There's no camera forward motion in it. It's very interesting to study. 1931.
The room to put my towel.
Yeah, wir gehen zusammen. And so it's 1933, something like that. Hurricane Express, 1933.
Do you want to stay here a moment? I make a picture for you right here.
Später, ich mach den Film jetzt. It's 1933 Hurricane Express. And it's somehow, it's flat. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. I'll show it to you. Hurricane Express, 1933. Und die Leute machen was. You see how du machst was? You know what I mean? Uzi? Jetzt machst du was. You see, du machst was, du gehst wohin. That's what's happening in these movies. Immer Zeug passiert. Things are happening. It's not nothing. Things are always happening. I call it the flat movie. I've used a lot of different planes and stuff too at the Van Nuys Airport. Jeep and plane, and they probably had a couple planes they were working on it. It was usually helicopters. So Airwolf, the TV show, was done by actual helicopter owners, the Belisario guy, and actual helicopter pilots, helicopter mechanics. These are the guys, They said, make this a helicopter show. It's pretty. I mean, it was groundbreaking. But it came out at around the time of, it was really, 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 really groundbreaking. I mean, right?
Yeah. In which year?
80s, around 1980. Into the 70s, into the 80s. And it was, I mean, unbelievably groundbreaking. Very, very groundbreaking. Nobody did something like that. A stealth prototype helicopter, a TV show. I mean, as far as making making this thing with the people that run the stealth helicopter program and stuff, and it's unbelievable. Pro America, that's Pro America, right? It's not the Soviets, it's Pro America.
One way, yeah. So
And that was 1980.
I have to go to the other way.
Yeah, you can.
This is one way.
You'll be able. You can figure it out. And then the other one was Knight Rider, which was very groundbreaking with the car, a special car, black car, special program with that black car. And the Airwolf was very interesting. Anything else like it? I don't think there's anything else like it. What, Dukes of Hazzard and the A-Team? What, nobody had an airplane, right? TV show. What other
TV show?
I mean, a TV show with airplanes and helicopters flying in the air.
The TV show with the
Airwolf.
Airwolf.
I can't think of anything else.
Helicopter.
I can't think of anything else.
No, nothing else.
What else? I can't think. Superman? I can't think of anything flying in the air. This was with the guys going to the airfields, and Belisarius, and Van Nuys Airfield, and Stringfellow Hawk, and those guys. There's groundbreaking, really groundbreaking. And they chose this guy, John Michael Vincent. He has a real attitude, that guy. And he was into alcohol, and now today he's just an asshole character. Well, I mean, he has a little bit of a right to be like that, I guess, because he says Airwolf is the best. It's the greatest thing ever. No, we didn't get as much respect. It's the fucking best show in the world. Is what he says. Unbelievable. He's an asshole. You can see interviews with him today, and I mean, I can see he's kind of right, but he's pro-military and stuff like that because they're the airplane, fly the helicopter, that kind of thing. But it must have been very liked by the military because, you know, the aircraft, helicopter, and everything like that. Anyhow, that's Airwolf,
There's
and
the Air Museum. He said about a mile from
it's
here.
very hard to make a show like that. Yes, it's just straight ahead. That's ongoing like that. But doing a temporary thing with like 5 or 10 people, and then doing that a couple day shoot, one other day shoot, is not as hard. And then the thing is done and it's over. But doing ongoing episode after episode after episode is an ongoing thing. It's like a little community. It turns into a little community with everybody who you know, all the people, and it's like a business that's ongoing.
Is this the museum?
Yes, that's the museum. It's a neat location. I like this location very much. Isn't this cool, this location? Uzi? This is the best location here. For filmmaking, this is a tremendous one. Right here at Atlantic Aviation. Man, this is Atlantic Aviation.
The land is here available. There's so much land.
Right. This reminds us of that movie Hurricane Express in the 1930s. They had the trains and the planes was the new frontier. It's the new frontier of America. It really was. This is a pretty cool spot. It actually looks just like Magnum PI in Hawaii right here. Really, really cool spot. I'm going to go in this way over here. Find Uzi. And take a look at the biplanes for rent. This is a really cool film location. I like this one. This has wide open spaces. Very, very good for filmmaking. Really impressed. She's probably over here. Did you go in this way? She might have went in this way. She might have went in this way. Before I go all the way over there, I'll see if she's over here. Maybe she's right here. Yeah.
Das Rote hier direkt vor uns, die haben eine ganz spitzige Schnauze, some of them. You can see, right? Und es gibt dann kein, I mean, das ist, wie nennt man das? Streamline. It's streamlined, wenn es spitzig ist vorne.
Yep.
Sie, aber was auch interessant ist, das dort, das kleine, rechts, hat Propeller.
It's a propeller.
Und der haben keine.
That's a
der
dual.
hat
It
auch
has two propellers. Dual propeller.
Und der hat keinen Propeller.
That's a jet. It has little propellers
oh.
inside. It's called a jet. In a casing.
Und diese Düse
It's called a
right?
jet. Düsen, yes, it's a jet. This one is a single propeller in the front, and that one is a dual jet.
Are they comparative to each other in speed and
No, these are all
performance?
different. I think they're all different. That one is a propeller. You know, that one is a corporate jet. Goes a little bit faster, and that one is a propeller, more of a sightseeing thing on the right side. You know,
Oh, yeah.
Weekender sightseeing.
Mhm.
You know, but they all can be used for the same thing, airplanes, and that's works for many different things. This is for office, executive office. The front door. Huh. I think it's a really good filming location. It kind of has everything. It could work for lots of stuff. Really works as a nice filming location. Food right there. Lounge area here. Oh, that place where Mosen was at. The WeWork place where Mosen was at. That's a good filming location. It's got little rooms and offices and computers. Got everything there. That WeWork thing where Mosen is at. That's a perfect filming location. That's a really good filming location. The WeWork where Mosen is at. The WeWork has just like this. A little bit of everything. A little bit of this. A little bit of that. Has every possible kind of filming location that you can imagine. The WeWork where Mosen is at. The little cafeteria here has everything. That place has everything also. Has all kinds of stuff. The WeWork, that's a perfect filming location. Has everything. A little bit of nice little corporate jet.
I mean, we drive in 2 hours to Palm Springs. LA comes 2 hours.
Yep.
They probably make it in a half an hour.
No, I don't think so.
No?
Probably about an hour.
Maybe an hour. Then it cuts from driving 1 hour.
Yeah, but it's more, yeah. Well, you can go anywhere. Different locations. It's not really about that. It's more about having a plane, you know? Well, you can go different places everywhere, land
They call
places.
themselves an international airport. That means...
Yeah, they just call it international airport. It
Like
means
the
anybody can go
TWA
anywhere. Yeah.
Lufthansa, they can land here?
It's called international airport. It's just a landing strip, which is a flat runway. It's just a concrete runway. Yeah, it's pretty amazing here. We should go here. Let's see. We should go here with Keith. Let's go here with Keith. Yeah.
Goes like this.
You mean the back of the plane?
Yes.
The back side.
That's on top.
On top of the back. That's the tail. Yeah, that's the tail section. Yeah, that's the tail. That's right, because that has a low tail. That one has a low. The tail is down low, and that one has a high tail. The tail is up in the air like that.
Like by einem Fischfisch.
Like a fish with a tail, exactly. The tail stabilizes the fish, right?
Yeah.
It stabilizes the fish. So here the tail is stabilizing the airplane, so it doesn't fall down. It helps stabilize it and keep the tail up, so the tail is up in the air, and it helps it fly. Yeah. Okay. Geschäftsleute.
Okay, you want to go to the museum?
Okay. That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So Lucy, this is the revival of the culture? This is the revival of their original culture? This is the revival of their original culture? So these are real Native Americans? And they're the
maybe it means something, I don't know. It means something, but it is French. And I can look it up in the internet.
Country Club Drive, Club Drive. Palm Springs, look at these palms, wow. Lots of palms. Indian Wells Lane. Resort, wow. Indian Wells Golf Resort. Indian Wells Golf Resort. It's a big one. Look at the amount of palms lined up.
Oh yeah.
Look at them all lined up like that.
So
Wow.
nice.
On the right side, nice landscaping.
Beautiful.
Very nice
I
landscaping.
mean, this is such a thing.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing. Want to make it like you're in a dream state because the movie is kind of a dream, you know, not really like as real, you know. You want to make it kind of the film directors are very artistic. They got all these different creative stuff and you know. So you want to make it like just a minute. You want to make a really low frame rate, even like 1 frame per second or 2 frames per second. See? So it looks like a dream, like you're seeing this dream go by. 1 frame per second, like you're looking into it. It's just amazing. Mm-hmm. I think this goes right here. There's a walkway that goes like that. And you go up the stairs like that. Or through this way. Into here. This is in your room. So maybe this way. You just go through this way and through there. The WeWork location is perfect for that. WeWork location. This is like a location which is a relaxing, residential, good time, designing something, meeting people, kind of, it's not as much of a technical serious workplace. This is more of a lot of cool film locations here, really cool film locations. Street. For a film location, look at this. Pretty good spot here. Pretty good film location. You take off from right here. Neat location. Really neat spot. Right at the back side of the hangar. Cool. Resorts here.
And here different alleys of
Palm trees, yeah.
Beautiful.
All different kinds of palm
They
trees.
know what they were doing, yeah. This
The
is
palm tree showcase.
what I like to
Massive palm tree showcase.
instead of shit. He said correct.
Right, huh?
I love
Look
it.
at these nice mission style buildings. They're pretty nicely. It's a mall from the other side. These are functional buildings. Sotheby's Realty, these are functional buildings, but it just looks nice also from the outside. Nice buildings. That one looks like a mission style.
Yeah.
This one here. The lighting hitting these buildings looks very nice. Mission style buildings. So this is kind of Cathedral City, Palm Desert. This is Palm Desert now. Palm Desert. Springs, like in the 60s. It's called the 60s. Palm Springs. Houses here. great shot by this.
Can we do this at two
this
of
thing.
us?
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Why not?
It's okay. Look at this great shot right here. Wow, on this bridge here. Great shot. It's a really good shot. This building here and this bridge right here. Very cool filmmaking location. It's a pretty cool filmmaking location, yeah.
I'll be right there.
Cool. Wow, neat cars here. Is the owner? Or someone who works here? Yeah. It's pretty amazing. 24,000 for that. It has a big sunroof right there. So look at this car showroom. Palm Springs Car Showroom. Palm Springs Car Showroom. Palm Springs Car Showroom. There's a lot of stuff here. Let's go further. This is the end. The end of the showroom. There's a Viper sitting right over there. They got a lot of cars, man. Amazing cars, Palm Springs showroom. Because that is the big picture of the big picture. That is really what it is. Nothing top secret or nothing kind of. This is the big picture of the big picture. Is that Christians, but everybody is a good person. Most people are good people. So, and what's happening is that most people are good people. And the Jewish are the ones who control most of the businesses. So there was always stuff like this around. I mean, if you grew up in the 60s, if you grew up in the 70s, if you grew up in the 80s, I grew up in the 80s and 90s. There's always stuff like this around, kind of electrical charges and stuff. But recently, after the year 2000, this new thing has taken off. It's called Wi-Fi. And everybody has this now. Everywhere there's Wi-Fi. And so it's gotten a lot worse. The stuff with the electrical charges, the stuff is gotten a lot worse. Because now this little Wi-Fi beaming, Wi-Fi hotspots and everything is a really, really big deal. It's everywhere, and you have to be very careful how much of this you're exposed to if you study it. And it's weaponized. That's kind of the secret. That's a secret. It's weaponized. How is it weaponized? They can make it higher, and in certain areas it's extremely high. With a meter like this, it shows green, and green is okay, it's healthy. If it shows red, then it's dangerous. Like, imagine gasoline. It's okay to be around gasoline and tank a car with gasoline. But if you're to take gasoline and breathe it into your nose directly and wash it all over your hands, that would be in the red. It's unhealthy. You can't breathe gasoline and wash it all over your hands. It's toxic. So that would be in the red. Just because it's around in the area doesn't mean it's healthy. The stuff is in the area, it's around, but it's at such a low level right now because it's showing green that it's not an issue. So it's green, it says it's okay. But remember, it's dangerous and it's unhealthy. If it gets at a certain level, then it is a serious health risk. Then it seriously becomes unhealthy. So that's 1 megawatt when it gets into the red at this point right here. And keep in mind, right now it's just under that. So green doesn't mean it's completely healthy. Green means that kind of means that there's not really enough to cause a very serious health problem on you. You know, if you're exposed to this for maybe 100 years, or maybe even 20 years, there could be serious health effects. But they just painted it green because right now, at this point, there's no, you're not going to get cancer right now because of at this level. But if it goes a little higher, at 1 megawatt, then it's in the red. 10 megawatts, which is actually 10 times that much, is the next line on the thing. And you can go like this, and then to show how further it goes, the 100 megawatts is right there, so that's actually 100 times the 1 megawatt. So that's how it's weaponized. They can actually somehow, I don't know how, but they can actually, I don't know, the things, these things, this is from the router, the emitters, 12, maximum 20. So there's 20 in the area, 12 are reading out right here, and the emitters are the Wi-Fi boxes, call them routers or modems, or the things, it's that, and they're also, they could be everywhere, the Gwen towers, all of these things. Gwen tower could have 3 or 4 big powerful emitters on it, and that's called an emitter. It emits the stuff. It emits the radiation out of it. So I've seen it, you can see it on this metering device. Sometimes it goes up to 10 megawatts or 100. So 1 megawatt is already in the red, extremely dangerous. So imagine 10 times that much, and imagine 100 times that much. So at 10 times and at 100 times, they crank it up somehow. They turn up the juice, they turn up the electricity. So at that amount, it's a weapon. It can cause severe cellular damage, and it's weaponized. It doesn't just stay at this low level all the time. It can be used as a weapon. The same way like electricity, this small amount of electricity, you know, it's not damaging, but if you can turn up the electricity to electroshock someone, well, that's a weapon. It's weaponized. But I like the idea of this thing. I want to write a book, maybe a small book, like a pamphlet, or write a book about this idea. Or maybe I'll write the book quick and get that done quickly, or write an essay on it and punch the essays together, maybe write a book. I think it's one idea. I think it's Amanda's idea. Or I could just put the recordings together.
You make good videos. We need to find somebody who puts it all together.
That's the idea, is to make an alternate civilization. Pedestrian.
Okay,
Sorry, okay. Sorry.
Sorry.
Pedestrian civilization. So everything is done on foot. And this would solve a multitude of society's problems. A multitude. Because people are sick of going to work, sick of commuting through the traffic. This offers the solution to that. You just walk along the little pathway, and there is food store, little booth, daycare, little offices, and kind of, it's just designed kind of around where the people are. So that means that if you're in a residential area with, you know, residential buildings, then it's just a little walking path down your street, and then we kind of buy off or sell off a couple of the residential buildings every here and then there's a little mall there. It's smaller. It's like a little, you know, small buildings and stuff, and they have a little office there and stuff like that. So it functions as a backup to civilization. If things break down, if you can't drive your car, you know, as a breakdown of some sort, then you can just walk around the block to the small office there. You have a little legal office, you have a little dental office, a little medical office. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, and in some cases, the existing, you know, little strip malls that we have today, it functions for that. Okay, the strip mall is there, and there's some houses and residential nearby, maybe 5-6 blocks. So within that area, 5 or 6 blocks, that functions as their little business operations park, business park, and operational center. So if your car breaks down or the cars are not running, there's a big problem, then you have you walk, and then you have your businesses right there in that strip mall for those people. If you're outside the 10-block range or whatever, you could still walk into that one over there. But you may go to the other one. Maybe there's one over there. So it's really kind of coordinating in different communities, coordinating where your pedestrian civilization is and how your pedestrian civilization works. You meet people locally, and you actually have to live it. You have to live it. And you actually have to kind of do that. You have to actually walk there and open the door and see, the little market there and meet people, and you can help. And also part of it, I think, is open employment. Anybody who wants to work can work. Okay? Anybody who wants to start stacking those boxes, stack these boxes. Get those boxes stacked. It's just an idea. Get those boxes stacked, and all the juice and the food is coming in. Stack those boxes up over here. Okay, the next step is that they have to get brought from here onto the shelves over there. Stack them from here onto the shelves. Then they get stacked onto the shelves. And then if you want to work with that guy's the accountant, so he's accounting for, that's $2 for the drink, $2 for each of those, $3 for that. So he keeps track of anybody who want to buy one. Okay, $2 for that. That goes into the cash register, and it's like a little store. It's just a store. And the idea is kind of an open civilization concept. The kids can start working there. Instead of the kid having no job and getting shuttled around with the mom to the baseball practice, now the kid has a job right there in his town, helping the town survive in case of an emergency. He's over there. He just walks right there. He's got the little store right there. He's working with this guy, stacking the food boxes right there. See? Mm-hmm. And think of how many cars you have. Any one of the SUVs or trucks can work as picking up the food from the distributor and bringing it to your local little food store stash. Mm-hmm. There's a little daycare, and the idea is an open community. You meet the daycare guys. It's the same idea that Steve had, the village. He calls it the village. Because what's happening is that people are realizing. What's happening is that people are realizing that the civilization we created, built around the automobile and being able to have freeways, automobiles everywhere, that civilization has certain downfalls. Okay? That civilization that we created in the 1960s, basically after World War II is when it really took off. Then you're swinging out with the 50s car, going out to your big picket fence house, and in the 60s cars going everywhere. That civilization, which is still the civilization we're in today, that civilization that we created has pretty big, massive flaws to it. That's what we're finding out. It's not just America, it's Canada, Mexico, many other countries. Not everywhere. There's people who live off the land. There's people who do their own farming and agriculture. They don't have that problem. They only use their truck when they need to go out and camping. Then they pile into the truck, and then they drive off into the truck. Other than that, they live off the land. They have everything small. They don't totally industrialize the way we do. So that civilization that we created has some major flaws. Too much industrialization, too great distances, everybody in the car every single day. It's too much. It's not that it's not enough, it's that it's too much. Too much industrialization, too much freeways, and too much doing gasoline every single day, on and on and on. It's like it's coming to an end. There's some components that people want to blow the stuff or end it somehow. Some people want to do that because there's no way to get away from it. So this alternative civilization also functions as a way to get away from all that and just get away from all that stuff and still have a community with people that love each other, that can care for each other, that meet each other, and that can stack food and have a happy lives and still kind of live your life in an alternative civilization that's free from the chains of the industrialization, free from the chains of the freeways and all the traffic and cars. It's a separate civilization with no cars. You do not drive a car in this civilization the way it functions. The only reason you would need your car is to make a run, is to drive with the car all the way to the distributor and stack boxes of food in there, shut the trunk, and the next car comes, stack boxes of food, and then bring that to your local food depot store right there, and then stack it up. That's the only time you would get a car, drive a car. Or if you need to go great distances and for some reason, then you would get into the car and go travel somewhere for a great distance. Yes, so something like that. This is not for not every room or every person. It's targeted to certain people. Anyhow, we've defeated it, and we've locked these guys up, thank God, and defeated them. And now we're sleeping fine. We feel awesome. We feel amazing. And everything is great again. These criminals, like I was about to say, with the next couple years, these beam devices are going to be made completely illegal, and they're going to incarcerate all these people, or incarcerate a lot of people that are doing it. And these devices and stuff will be made illegal, and there's, get rid of these things and everything like that, because of the amount of damage that these fucking things do, and the amount of criminality involved with these Gestapo type criminals, and it's going to be made illegal probably in the next couple of years. They're going to, it's going to be new legislature about these things, that you cannot use it and stuff like that, and then they're going to have to go through lots and lots of channels, lots of things in order to use it and stuff, and it's going to be very common knowledge not to use it. So, but it is a covert thing. It is covert. They use it covertly, and it's a covert harassment. So covert means like you never know. Somebody could bring one of those things inside using their bag. Inside of their bag, they could have one of these things, and then they could harass people using these things. It's just horrible stuff.
Having a hard time sleeping. Yes. We're having a hard time sleeping. Brother Michael's can't sleep. I had some crazy dreams the other night.
So we can't sleep with those. So we can't sleep with energy devices hitting us.
Energy devices be hitting us, and it's hard to sleep.
Turning them off. I cannot sleep with that shit on.
We need to find a way to make these things turn off. Yeah.
Okay, so when you put your hands over your ears like that, press the palm of your hands on your ears like that, deep over your ears. Now you should hear your heartbeats. If you're healthy, you should hear a heartbeat. It depends on what is going on. If some of these microwave frequencies are, in fact, in the house, Wi-Fi, your cell phone, a lot of these things can do it. You may, instead of hearing your heartbeat, you may hear this kind of, you don't hear a heartbeat, which is pretty scary and pretty crazy. And instead you hear the kind of like, you can hear these electrical frequencies. So try it. You have to go in a quiet space, obviously. Not going to work in a club with music. Put both palms of your hands over your ears, one on the one side, one on the other side, and press it hard so you can hear, right, what's going on in your body. You can kind of hear your heart and your blood flowing because it goes by your brain as it flows through your ear canal and stuff, okay? So you can hear your heartbeat in that way. And if you hear your heartbeat, you're pretty healthy. If you can hear dum-dum, 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 or dum-dum, dum-dum, dum-dum. If you can hear your heartbeat, you don't have as much of this radiation and these Wi-Fi things affecting you. Okay? If you don't hear it very much, instead you hear this stuff, this ringing in the ears, all these things. You don't hear your heartbeat. You're more affected. You've been exposed to it. You've been sitting under a router, something like that. Thank you. Telling me Dell, D-E-L-L, Dell, the Dell Computer Company. The Dell Computer Company. It's an American company, the Dell Computer Company. So you're telling me the Dell computers are also manufactured in China? I mean, this manufactured in China stuff is pretty stupid. Doing all of that just for money? It's like, you see, you're just selling yourself out just for money? It's very stupid. You could have a computer, the Chinese are not going to like that. They're not going to like the idea. They're not going to like it. They're not going to like that. But the American people are going to like it. Okay? The same type of computer manufacturing. You can make your own computer. You just buy a case, buy the motherboard, and these are all separate components. There's case manufacturers, motherboard manufacturer, CD-ROM drive manufacturer, and the daughter board manufacturers, motherboard, daughterboard manufacturers, and that's it. Power supply. So all of these, as of right now, some of them are made in West Germany, but most of these things are made in China or Japan. So you would actually, it's really complicated. You would actually have to manufacture, because you would still be buying from China. You see, if you make your own computers, assemble them in Silicon Valley or assemble them in whatever, San Jose, or assemble them in Burbank, you would still be buying a motherboard that's made in China or made in Japan, a hard drive that's made in China or made in Japan, a CD-ROM that's made in China or made in Japan, the motherboard, the daughter board, the power supply. There's still the fucking case. Still, everything is made in China and Japan. So you're still furthering their economy and not building it yourself, because it is the next phase of that kind of world domination agenda. It's very strange, it's very evil, but the manufacturing for these items, and the fact is these items do break down over time. If you own a computer for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, it may go 4 years or whatever, but at some point these computers kind of break down. 90% of people, not all, but 90% of people will, sell it for parts or give it to turn it into the computer store or whatever, and buy a new one. So it's 90% of people. So most people will buy a new one. So they're purchasing from China, the manufacturing it, and it's constantly all the items are purchased from there. So you could make the stuff in America, but it would be a very unique. The company would be very, very, very unique. And you'd have to have a whole bunch of companies. You'd have to have a company that makes the power supplies. It just makes power supplies all day long in America. You'd have to have a company that makes CD-ROMs all day long in America. Another company. You have to have another one that makes cases constantly. And another one that makes the motherboards. Another one that makes the daughter boards. Another one that makes the hard drives. So, is that happening? There may be some innovators that are doing it. And there may be some Western digital and stuff, but as far as we know, all of these manufacturers are over there. They're in China. It's just made in China. God knows what, Beijing or industrial district of Hainan province or whatever. It's all over there. So, and that's not just computers, it's all cell phone, electronics, everything. So, that's the way that's kind of been set up. That's the way that kind of set up the manufacturing. It's been set up that way. I think someone should do some kind of an assessment of what's the real economic kind of power of a country. And I would go to say that it is actually exactly what the preppers are saying, that the economic output of a country is food. F-O-O-D, food. Okay? What good is a computer if you don't have anything to eat? You need food. Food above everything else is the number one thing. You cannot fight a war without food. And even if you try to fight a war somewhere, you need lots of food, and you're going to get up dead bodies because you're the one fighting the war. All your people are going to end up dead, since the people holding the ground are going to do a very good job holding the ground. They're going to be able to defend very well. They have their own forces. They can defend very well. There's a million of people. You can't just, they have their own. They're going to be, so the attacker gets heavily hit and heavily damaged until they're finished, basically. So, food is the number one thing. The number one economic output of a country is to feed your people. Everybody knows that. To feed your people. Beside that, it could be all kind of other things. It could be many things. It could be many things. It's many things. It's generally, general productivity, making things, building things. It's also the economic system needs to be correct. If it's charging you an arm and a leg just to stay where you're living, and all your money is going just to pay the rent to where you live, then it's kind of a scam. And people cannot amount to anything since all their money just goes to the landowners. So actually, matter of fact, it is a good idea to keep the landowners somewhat under control as far as how much money they can charge, because that makes the people stronger. Because if the people giving all their money to the landowner just sitting there making money, he's not making any products or services. Landowner just owning the land is not making products or services. He's not producing food. He's not producing guns. He's not producing anything useful. Food, clothing, shoes, food, clothing. He's not doing anything like that. Landowner just sits there and owns the land and makes a lot of money. So this is also why some of the ultra rich landowners are corrupted. They turn to total asshole, turn to total corruption, because they're not doing anything productive at all. They're just making a lot of money from sitting there. That's corruption. Corruption really means, doing nothing and just making money for doing nothing just because you're you. Making money just for that. That's what makes people evil. That's what turns them into corruption, to total corruption. And it happens over time. Just for you being you, such a big man, getting everything without having to lift a foot. You got servants that do everything for you. That's what is total corruption, and that's what is the devil. And the total, ultimate evil over time of a person. If you're scared and you're out there, or whatever, a little bit running around, working, you start to come back to positivity and hope and a little bit of fear and fire under your butt and fear under your butt. And that's what makes people decent people, good people. So this is just, the landowners actually don't really contribute. They're just going to own the land. Productivity is food. So what's productivity? Is food. Food and clothing and products and stuff like that. So America makes its own food, so nobody needs to worry at all. They got all the food and military. America produces food in the Central Valley of California. Stay strong, and that's why the internationalists that want to take over America, they are angry. They cannot take America over and own and sap all control and take over everything. If Donald Trump and other American patriots are going to say, we got our own money system, we got our own food, we got our own military, and we'll beat the shit out of you if you try to take us over, you motherfuckers. It's crazy. So, the patriot movement, that's what's going to keep America strong. I'm not even that interested, since I want to settle and live somewhere else, but by God, we have put in a lot as far as giving some love and positivity. And Richie from Boston is good. Richie from Boston is really good. John X Army is on there, is really good, and all these other guys. I don't know, these guys are really amazing personalities. Okay, so if we're not going to comment too much on it, at least let's make our own videos and talk about what our theories are. And upload our own videos, and get a couple friends who can listen to that and go through what their own theories are on what some of these things are, and make our own videos and re-listen to those own videos and do that. Sure, because That's what happens. That's what goes on. That these other countries that come in, or other people from other nationalities, that's what America's all about. People from other nationalities come in and set up their own shop, their own operation. That's why I believe it. When people say that there's terrorist cells or kind of terrorist operations, building bombs and gun running and stuff going on in America, that stuff is actually real. That stuff goes on because it's kind of like an internationalist. America's an internationalist operation. International operation, like a Chinese guys and Chinese family come in, set up a computer import-export thing, and then they're shipping all their stuff around. That stuff goes on a lot. Stuff goes on all the time. And they don't want you knowing about it. They don't want you talking too much or knowing about it. Like, what difference does it make? It doesn't make a difference. You pay your tax, they pay your taxes, and they got their little operation, their own business there, computer suppliers or whatever, or whatever, food suppliers or whatever, and that's what's going on. No one cares about that. Who cares? Okay, so this is the latest of the detoxification here. The latest whatever, research in the detoxification is that these are nanobots, nanorobots. Certain frequencies will remove them and begin removing them. I've begun doing that. We'll remove them. I've begun doing that, and I've had the pain sensations because in certain areas of my body that show that kind of seems like it's being affected. It's doing it. Because what happens is that the sound, it looks like a sound frequency beam kind of hits you, and then that's what triggers the pain and the numbness from these things. So certain types of frequencies, invisible or sound frequencies, will immobilize the person, basically, if you have these nanobots in you. Kind of numb you from your legs down, or give you pain in the genitals, which makes sense. The genitals and the urinary area, this has positive sensations here. So to put, that's a sensitive area there. So if you put some nanobots there, then you could use that sensitive area to create pain instead of pleasure, and then shock the person into submission. And that's the idea, and so it makes sense. I remember going pee-pee to the bathroom, and I had a horrible pain as I was going pee-pee. So the pee-pee was, these nanobots were affecting at that point. And other times when I was walking around, like they try to, what these things, the point of all this, what they try to do is they try to kind of take over your body, and then, when you see an advertising for Amazon.com, then it makes you feel good, like, wow. And you're like, how come I'm feeling so good? This Amazon.com thing must be amazing. Let's do it. All right, so it's not your actual mind thinking, it's your body reacting. It's a programmed thing. And then if you see, Alex Jones or activism, then it, just feels bad. And then just there's no feeling, it just feels like a turnoff, and say, it must be a turnoff. Don't look at that thing. So they're trying to, and they usually, with most people, I think, want to do this in a very, very, very subliminal way, and subtle way, so people don't realize. And that makes sense. They don't realize that they're being, pushed toward Amazon.com, or pushed to be happy and do shopping. They don't realize, but they're slowly being kept happy in that way. And even in my case, it was subliminal. I couldn't see where it was coming from. I don't know definitively where it was coming from. I didn't see any food that I was eating that definitively was the stuff. It was all secret and silent and stealth and unknown as to what this is. So, done in a secret way to try to subliminally take over your body and attack you in certain ways. And these fucking nanobots and shit, unbelievable. Frequencies and frequency kind of weapons and weaponized stuff is unbelievable. We're not doing anything over there anymore. We're not doing nothing. Check the comments. I haven't made any comments over there. Nothing. And I'm not doing anything over there. I'm just helping my mom with her apartment business. I'm not in the comments. I'm not doing nothing. And I was just hanging out with Steve because he actually picked me up and was a friend to me. And I'm not. I don't even want to hang out with him anymore because he's involved with that. I said, don't be involved with that. But I'm not doing any comments, nothing. I'm not. And besides, even if someone makes a comment, there's hundreds and hundreds of comments in there. That one comment is not going to get even any visibility. It's the video that gets the visibility. And I'm not on there. I've not made no fucking comments, dude. Crazy. There's a person over here in one of these houses or shooting a proton radiation beam at us. Directly at me. I can feel it. It damages you and it hurts you more and more every day. I'm not making any goddamn fucking... I'm not on there. I'm not making any comments. I'm not doing nothing. I'm not doing nothing. I'm going with my mom to a yoga class and helping her with the apartment. I'm not doing any comments. None. It's just, it's crazy. Please leave us the fuck alone. Leave us the fuck alone. And we're busy doing other things. We're just doing day-to-day, nice things. Going to a restaurant and stuff like that. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. And that's a very good thing. I'm a centrist. I'm not making things that really push things in one direction and in talking about secret space program and disclosing that. I'm not really someone who pushes things in the other direction. Or, completely like an extremist in the other direction, is what I'm saying. Like an extremist in kind of, I'm not an extremist. I'm centrist. I'm kind of, very centrist. Meaning that, it's kind of, I'm into the real world. But it may have some good creative ideas sometimes, like the idea of the pedestrian civilization, which I think is a really good idea. I'm pretty centrist. I'm not really pushing things in the boundaries into any like what the truthers do with the secret space program. I'm not producing that content or making money from that. I'm not doing nothing like that. I may dabble in it or be interested, but I'm not a producer of that kind of stuff. There's people that make that. It's free speech. It's freedom of speech, I guess. If they want to produce that media, there's a very big... I think it's a very big... I think they make money off of that. I think it's a very big industry. People are fascinated by that kind of stuff. They love space and UFOs and aliens. People love that stuff. So I think it's probably a pretty happening business, actually, really, to be in that kind of business. If you're David Wilcock or whatever, I think it's probably a very happening field. A lot of people, a lot of women in the field, New Agers, and a lot of people really want to hear that and purchase that and do all that, see that. Because, it's the people who love that kind of stuff. But actually, personally, I'm not really into it. I just dabbled in watching it a little bit, but it's not what I'm into. I'm not into that. But I think that field is I think it's probably a booming industry, that kind of thing. So it now appears to be 21st of November, 2018, 21st of November. Here's the update. The update is that I was feeling very strange, just horrible, like some chemicalized in me or something, didn't know what it is. Feeling kind of fat and chemicalized, just something bad. And these ringing in the ears, you can hear these frequencies everywhere you go, targeted, all this crap, trying to run away from this stuff to go to another area where it's better. So I did a search on the internet for nanobots, remove nanobots. And I come across some videos there with different frequencies. Got all these solfeggio frequencies. And there's lots of different frequencies to remove these nanobots. They put this stuff up to your ear and put it all over you, the sound waves. And yes, I did feel at that moment, the same kind of pain sensations that I felt when the microwaves were at 1 megahertz or 10 megahertz. It's this kind of pain. I have it in my case in the genitals down here, in the urinary tract, and the legs felt heavy, hard to walk. Everyone has different symptoms because it appears that some people get these nanobots or whatever. This is all theory. I don't know if this is what it is or have no idea at this point. I think this is a major part of what this is, possibly. Probably a major part of what this is. Some people get these little nanoparticles from the actual air, from the chemtrails actually kind of raining down through the air on them. In my case, I think I was poisoned through a drink. I mean, in a drink where these stupid nanobots were in a drink. And I had drank some of the drink a little bit, and I felt something. I distinctly remember, actually in my head, up in the brain area, I felt something kind of whooshing through there. So that was kind of strange. And so I guess after that point, I felt some pain in my body. I started to feel like I was getting heavier, like gaining weight, gaining fat, harder to move, pain waves in my body, the ringing in the ears, etc. And it looks like these frequencies and stuff is disrupting these things, breaking them loose, getting them into the bloodstream loose so they're not non-functional and in the bloodstream, and then slowly, if you do detox drinks and stuff and drink a lot of liquids, it'll go out in the urine, and these things are immobilized and they go out basically through the urination. They go out through the urination. So not through the number 2, but through the number 1. They go out through the urination. So it detoxes, and the pressing of the liquid kind of goes out. So drink lots of water, stuff like that. That's as of now, that is what it seemed. That is what the current. That's what's currently. That's apparently what it was currently working on as 21st of November. That's what I was working on here. I can delete all the comments or a lot of comments off later. If it turns out that that's what it is or whatever, I can just delete the comments later. And this is the latest update. The latest update is that it seems like these nano-robots are nanobots. This is the latest in the detoxification. Because the issue with the car driving great distances and masses of freeways and stuff, it's not just an issue of gasoline. It's not just an issue of this great distances. It's a social issue. Because people have no sense of community. They're all just completely independent. As a person driving great distances, you have no sense of community. You don't meet any people. It's a very it's a horribly dehumanizing experience, a dehumanizing thing. It's very bad. And you can see if you're in the car with someone else, 2 people in the car, going the great distances, right, and turn right, and turn right, a left street, it could be this way, go the off-ramp, and it becomes very, very bad and very dehumanizing. Depending on some different factors, it can be very bad. It turns into arguments and turns really rough, like, no, go that way, you never get the way around. And so it turns into arguments and love the freeway entrance, and it turns into a very difficult, horrible kind of thing, a dehumanizing experience, to where you're just basically a slave to the industrialism. Instead of the industrialism working for us as people, it's turned, and think about this in your reality, it's turned exactly into the opposite. We've become a slave as people, have become a slave to the industrialism. Instead of the industrialism making our life easy, making our life much easier, more fun, more plentiful, plenty food and plenty things, it's turned into something very, very different. It's turned into a slavery in which the people our slave work and the industrialism is taking over. And not for everybody, but for a lot of people it seems to be turning that way. It is that the industrialism is what you're feeding, and the people are just abused slaves in the system. So instead of making your life easier, it makes your life much, much worse, much, much harder, and still hard to have enough food, still hard enough to make enough money, still hard enough to pay off your house. It's almost impossible for most people to pay off their house. It's almost impossible for most people to have enough food at home to feed their family for even a week. Why is it? I don't know, but do some research. It's hard to stock up a lot of food to keep your family for a week or 2 weeks. It's a rat race of freeways, and it depletes the food. So, and it's because of the industrialism. If we somehow start to learn to live off the land and live in harmony with nature, in harmony with the land, more walking, and maybe driving along a little road, a small distance or something, driving to the lake or whatever, but living in harmony with nature, then we have that's the way to live, not feeding the industrialism to the point where there's so many people that want to get away from the industrialism, just escape it and just crash it, blow up your house, whatever, just destroy your job, leave the job, get away from it, just to get away somehow from the industrialism. The point is that people don't know what to go to. They have nothing to go to. They don't know where to get away from. What am I supposed to? Where do I go? What do I live in the backyard? Do I live on the grass? How is that supposed to work? How do you get food from the? So this idea is actually an alternate to the industrialism lifestyle. It means just basically walking from your house into your community and making little bikeways and pathways for people to walk and interact and meet the neighbors, meet the people in your community, and have a place where there's food stockpiled, have a place where the gardening equipment is, have a place where the kids play, and then kind of meet people and have kind of a communalistic living. And this, believe it or not, is the same thing that the elite are trying to design somehow. This is what they are trying to come up with. This is what Agenda 21, what they're trying to come up with. But it's very hard to do since it's, it's a combination of it's all the industrialism and then how to get away from or curtail this industrialism. And I'm saying that it's two different systems. It's not, trying to make the roads a little smaller and harder to be on, and then that's doing it. No, they're two different systems. All the industrialism is fine. All the cars and everything is fine the way it is. You have to make an alternate system in which people don't touch their car. The car is sitting there. It's not used. We simply walk on foot and have an alternate system in which we interact with our community without the car. Because the fact of the matter is, once you get into your car and turn the key, you're going to be going back out the same way, back onto the same roads. You're going to be back into the same exact thing. So it's actually ditching the car, forgetting about the car, and walking on foot into your community and designing that as a separate system. And so forming little communities where people, and this has nothing to do with UFOs, has nothing to do with advanced technology or whatever. That's something else. That's loose on the internet. Those topics are loose, and those topics are all out in the open on the internet. So regarding that stuff, I think that stuff should be banned, or not shadow banned, but openly banned, and put it into put it into kind of the scrap bin of the internet, the Fox Mulder area of the internet. Okay, so the idea is for just kind of a different civilization on top of our current civilization. It's not really a different civilization, it's just a little bit of different infrastructure. And it's just an added on, a little extra add-on of infrastructure, of an idea. So it doesn't really matter. I mean, some people may not like this. The people who run industrialism wouldn't like this probably, but a lot of other people would like this. It'd be a very positive thing. So what the idea is that right now, in many places, it depends on where you are. In some towns or cities, there's, you can just walk down your block, and then there's little stores and everything there. But in some places, you have to basically drive a car and then drive all the way down, and then there's a market and job location and different market and buildings, different things going on. So it's all based around the car. It's all based around that kind of infrastructure. So the idea is to make a pedestrian community, basically like a community around walking on foot. And so basically you just walk over here, and then so you would need to put in some stores for purchasing food, maybe like example this location, Indio, one down over there at the end of the block, and then maybe a little school or a little study hall down at the end of the block, and then a place where you can get water, fresh water, and then maybe a little restroom location there. So you develop like within walking, just by walking, you walk to the market, and then you walk to a construction site, you walk to a warehouse, you walk, kind of a little walking community with people walking all over. So this actually does fit Agenda 21, because the point of Agenda 21 is to get people away from cars. Agenda 21 doesn't like all the cars everywhere, great distances, gasoline, and all the masses of traffic and roads, and everyone in cars, individual, all the cars everywhere. That's what Agenda 21 does not like. They don't like what they're trying to do. Agenda 21 is trying to get rid of these cars. They're trying to cut down, somehow under control, this freedom of all these people, freedom with their car going wherever they want. They want to make light rail, surface rail systems, and little barricades everywhere so that the cars can't go there, to try to kind of, in the way that they are phrasing it, to try to cut back on the incursion into the nature. And the people have cars, and they're destroying nature more and more to the point where there's no natural places anymore, which is kind of a lie, it's kind of fake, but that's what they're using to say that that's what is going on with that's what they're using to say that's what's going on. Or with Agenda 21, that there's too many cars, too many people, and that once a person has a car, then they'll go all over the place. They're not just going to use their car locally. They're just kind of tons of gasoline, tons of road, and more to the point is all of our country is all turning into freeways and industrialized and concrete. And they really do have a really good point. They have a really real point about that. Because there's a lot of concrete, a lot of freeways, a lot of industrialism, and a lot of people that, when they get a car, they just drive to the maximum. They fill their gas tank every couple days. And they're driving far, a great distance, and that's not the quality of life that the people really should have, which is another point of Agenda 21, that say people shouldn't just drive across, constantly driving. It's dangerous, all cars. They should just drive a small distance, or only some people should have cars, only the elite should have cars, the other people should walk down to the corner, and then there's a little light rail system that picks them up, kind of like in Germany they have that, or Tokyo, Japan. Walk down to the corner, the little light rail system picks you up and just bing, 6th Street station, and then drops you off everywhere, so those people don't have cars. So kind of lots of people don't have cars. Keith doesn't have a car. He hasn't managed to do it. But the point is that is a lot of freedom reduction for people. People love their cars. It gives them power and technology, and they can drive anywhere. You can go to Utah, you can go to Mexico, you can drive anywhere with a car. So people are not going to like it. That's why people hate Agenda 21, and they think it's communism, because it kind of is. And they hate that stuff. And the pro-Agenda 21 people, government and stuff like that, they see how many 6.5 million people, all the stuff, trying to cut back on the rights of the people, to cut back on them, on the cars, to kind of control and corral the millions of people by offering light rail and by making it harder and harder to own a car. They're making it more expensive through taxation, making certain rules and regulations. You have to be a certain age, or you have stringent checks on the car, and then, insurance, and then kind of less places the cars can go, kind of certain rules and stuff, making it harder for people to own a car. And that's what it's all about. So this idea actually is an interesting idea, which is kind of like, it kind of actually goes along with some of the interesting things that Agenda 21 is saying. that, this was the idea, is to have little walking areas where everybody walks on foot down to the edge of the corner of the street, and there's a little a market there, little markets and stores everywhere, where you can actually, if you don't want to drive your car, you can just stay away from your car for weeks and weeks and weeks. Now, under the normal system, the current system, you cannot do that because you work at some place and you have to drive all the way to where the work location is. So people will have to make adjustments in their life, that they work at this little place locally. It's more of a walking thing. I tried that myself in LA, or I did that for a while, where you're kind of walking, you kind of work right close to where you live. And there's some tremendous advantages, since you don't need your car. You can just walk to where you're working. You just walk around the block, a couple blocks, and then you're working right there. And then if you really want your car, if you need to go a great distance, you have a car and you can do that great distance. But you don't depend it. That's the problem. The problem is that people are dependent on the car, and without having that car, you wouldn't be able to function. So under this new idea, you would still be able to function. You just walk down the corner of your street, and there's a little liquor store, there's a laundromat over there, and there's a market, and there's maybe some kind of a coordination center there, so when you, through your employment, so you could schedule your employment through there and then work over there, or help your own community, get to know people in your community, and so now you're stocking food for the people in your community, working for them. And that's the real idea, to make a collaborative kind of living work environment. Who's the no? Criminal gangs, and thugs, and some medical crooks, medical criminals, have been removed, like just grabbed and just deported the fuck out of here. They were trying to microwave beam the people with these microwave frequency devices. So they're just trying to kill people using various different ways, using microwave frequency devices in order to silence these debates and stuff. So they've been found, they've been removed out of here by the townsfolk. They've been completely removed out. We didn't have to do anything. We saw this stuff as it was happening. It was very strange, as these people were rioting, and they basically just removed these crooks out of here. They found them, they were pointing around, that's the one. I was like, what the hell? And I saw this shit happening, and I was like, damn, what the fuck? Unbelievable. I'm going to delete the remainder. This stuff is a lot of work, finding these criminals, but we've defeated them finally and fully. It is 2018. We've removed the remainder of these criminal hacker, saboteur criminals. The Tomb Raider video game. Let's see. Did you hear me? Answer, did you hear me? Okay, because that'll keep me busy for a while playing that video game. Do you understand? So I bought that video game. That'll keep me busy for a while playing and learning and working on that. I think 17 or 10, something like that. Tomb Raider Anniversary, which is a pretty good one.
Okay, I looked in my telephone because
pretty good.
I thought there were lots of guys.
It was unbelievable. I just had some chocolate to eat. I can taste chocolate again. I could not taste. I was eating some chocolate. I could not taste it. There was no taste, like nothing. And your tongue starts turning like. Tongue has like blood that comes out of it, and your tongue has pain if you move your tongue. It's horrible. It's unbelievable, this fucking crap. I can taste chocolate again within about 10 minutes. Within about 10 minutes, I can taste chocolate. And so I'm going to try to unsubscribe from these channels. Because what happens is, that's the interesting thing about me. I'll go for anything. If the television has one channel on, with whatever they're making, I'll study that one. The people that know me know that this is true. You give me a homeless guy, and I'll work on the homeless guy, helping him out. And this is true. The people that know me know that. Yeah, exactly. You're right. Right? If you give me some blonde girl, 25, is in perfect condition, I'll help her out. I'll teach her, and I'll make her better. People that know me know that this is correct about me. I'm an improver. Give me a busted down house, all fucked up. I'll start fixing the roof, start fixing it until it looks awesome. So, I'm going to try to unsubscribe from all these political and controversial channels. I'm going to try to somehow unsubscribe and get these things so that they don't keep popping up. Because what happens is I go to YouTube, I see the stuff, and there's something there to work on and to look at, so I start looking at it. So, if I'm able to unsubscribe all these things out, I don't know how, but there's some way to do it. Why does it have to be so technical? I don't know. It should be a big fucking button on the channel that says block channel or unsubscribe. If you block and unsubscribe, you never hear from these guys again. You're never going to hear or see any of these fucking videos again from that particular channel. It makes sense, right? It makes sense. You're never going to hear or see any content from that channel again, unless you can always look it up, like search Alex Jones podcasts, whatever, and then press enter, and then you'll see the channel, you'll see that it's blocked, and then you can click unblock and subscribe, and then it comes back again. But the point is that it should be simpler to block these things so that you can subscribe to all this other stuff. You can subscribe to video game channels. You can subscribe to 60 Minutes. You can subscribe to TED. You can subscribe to Cars and Trucks magazine. You can subscribe to all of these things. So that then, when you go to your YouTube homepage, it shows you a lot of videos about this, about all that stuff. So that's what I'm working now. So it's now November 2018. That's what I'm working on now. Trying to unsubscribe these things off. And you can engage in debates of Nissan 300Z versus Toyota Supra. You can engage in debates of Lara Croft versus Indiana Jones. You can engage in, or you can look at that stuff. So, but I mean, there's a lot of those videos out there and tons of people looking at it, but not me. So, honestly, at least I'm not involved. I'm not involved. So, there's a way to unsubscribe these things. I mean, one time I went to the bathroom and my whole private parts was all red and just blood seeping out. It was disgusting. These fucking directed energy weapons. Disgusting. I had all pain through down there. I couldn't even go to the restroom. I couldn't go number 2. It was all clogged up. I was trying to take apple juice and prunes, and had to buy his apple juice and prunes, and then it finally kind of flushed through. Everything flushed through because it was just horrible what this fucking shit can do. Fuck that fucking shit. And fuck you, fuck you, and fuck that fucking shit. So unsubscribe from all this stuff. Subscribe to some channels, and then these things are going to start showing up. It's going to start showing up. Knight Rider or whatever, Baywatch, Mr. T. There's tons of content. Lots of content. So that's the current plan. How the hell did I get an M&M in here if it doesn't fit? Winter time now. It's pretty cold. It's November. So that stuff caused me a lot of issues. I'm trying to unsubscribe from these fucking things. If I can fucking unsubscribe from these videos, then, what the fuck? I'm not going to be debating this stuff anymore. And they're not going to show up in my feed. And I don't know how to do it. How to block videos on YouTube. Because, you know, how to block YouTube channels. See?
How to block a YouTube channel. So,
I don't know how to fuck you. Okay, I'm going to upload this. I guess make a audio file out of it. And then I guess upload it, maybe put just a picture on there. YouTube should have a way of making an audio file and then just sticking a picture on, so you're looking at this picture, and as you look at the picture you can hear the discussion going on. Okay. So there's some comment, someone posted a comment on the internet or that says that all in history the leaders just want to take out their opposition. Take out anyone, kind of, you know, imprison anyone who is speaking against them. Okay, but these days it's very different. It's an international world. All the technology connected to different countries in the international world. So Trump is not going to, you know, be able to take out someone in the Ukraine who's talking about, they're not talking about him anyway, you see? So it's very different. It's extremely complicated, and it's very, very different. So it's not that what that person says, that in the past leaders try to take out anyone who speaks out against them under Stalin or whatever. It's not that, because there's this global awakening going on, positivity going on. There's these different social movements or ideological movements. Okay, I mean, there's a lot of positivity out there and stuff like that. And the Trump has made this Make America Great Again. This is his thing. This is his movement. Make America Great Again. You can see him in the speeches. He's literally empowering people to do your best, make America great, do positive things. And he's got a lot of, he loves people. He loves people. Not a sociopath. He loves people. This great guy from this did this and that. Loves all this, and he's doing great work. Look what this guy's doing.
I couldn't read. Good morning.
How are you?
I couldn't get it out. Right there, I couldn't get it out.
Is it unlocked?
I wanted to.
Is it locked or unlocked?
It's unlocked, but I cannot get this thing out of here.
Here you go. Here you go. Let's try this. Yeah. Okay, stop. And look, see the grass. Did you see I did this grass? Mario, Mira. Grass, you see? I did all this grass, you see? It's much better here. No. Water and the grass is looking better now. And we can look how nice it is. Right? See? The grass? Wow.
I don't have. Yes, Mike. Yo olvidado Tijera es allí.
Tell him to take care of that, Osi. Tell him to fucking take care. Sorry, tell him to take care of that. Take care of that, very good. Okay. I made that grass, you see, I did the convertible. The cars, a lot of stuff. Can't take this out. That's the guy from Home Improvement that goes like that. I'm the guy from Home Improvement. Yeah, from Home Improvement. That's Solaris. Forgot. I need to spray paint that a little bit. I'll get to it. Yeah, how am I going to do it? like their own mind about what they like. They don't give a shit about someone else's comments. I think it's true. The fact of the matter is that there's different things going on there. This is not, we're not posting on the internet. This is audio. There's different things going on there. With Trump and with this stuff. He's not trying to, it's like, there's also the superficial and what's going on behind the scenes. But there is an American, because, it's so complicated, convoluted, messed up. The people who know about this stuff know that the more you know about this stuff, the more you understand that on the surface, to the average person, it's not just lies, it's convoluted, it's distractions, it's false propaganda, it's all these different things. And the deeper you go in, the more dangerous it is to study that stuff, and the more truths are there that they don't want let out to people. Also, they have designed, over a long time, this is all New World Order. So you go to another country, go to, go to, South America, then it doesn't apply as much. Or if you go to Italy, it doesn't apply as much because there's a nationalism going on. People are not stupid. People are sensing all these different kind of scams, and there's an awakening going on the internet. People are sensing these different scams, and there's nationalism going on. So that is the counter effect to this, because this New World Order thing is not going to happen. As far as it's just going to be, in North America, it's going to be a slow decay, and this is why Trump is fighting back against this slow decay of North America, since China's taken over all the manufacturing, right? Everything is done in Asia. That's why there's a slow North American decay. The money is being black budget, spent all the money, and no production. You're not producing anything that you can charge money for. So this the North American decay, a slow North American decay. Very important to understand that. And so Trump and patriots really are the antidote to this slow North American decay. The North American decay is real because they're spending money, using a lot of resources. They're not producing any products that you can charge money for at all. They have some raw manufacturing, steel and stuff like that, which is still good. But you cannot sell overseas. Construction, you cannot sell overseas.
To whom are you talking?
Audio recording. You cannot sell construction overseas, right? The products are all made in China now, right? All the computers, electronics. Still, you got food. Food products is important. To feed your people, that's the number one thing. So the American slow decay. It's a slow decay. Also, it's a decay in other ways. They're poisoning the people, specifically. They're doing the radio frequencies everywhere, the cancer scam. There's a slow decay. Now, everybody knows that's true. Slow decay in North America. And Trump is the antidote. Trump is the antidote to this slow decay. Because he wants to keep everything. He loves America. Keep America. Make America great. Keep everything better. Make it better than it's ever been. We can be great again. He is the antidote to the slow decay. The slow decay also has a reason. They're doing it for a reason. Because what happens is they kind of latch onto the trend. They latch onto the trend. Some of these bad guys will latch onto the trend and kind of go with the trend. This is the latest thing. China, invest in China. So they're investing in China. A lot of the corporations have all invested in China. So this is a part of maybe what's going on. Maybe Trump is arresting all these people that made deals with China and put all the industry and power over there and kind of backstabbed America. Maybe that's a lot of what's going on. So much of that going on. We don't know. Trump is also a truther. He wants some of the truth stuff to come out, because it kind of... that he's kind of with the truther movement a little bit. He's also kind of not. He's also with the Q thing is going on. The Q is a part of the truther movement, believe it or not. People say Q is real, Q is fake. Q is real. He's not fake. Because the real bad guys don't want to talk at all. Q is on there asking questions. What's happening here? I'm not into this shit at all. None. But because of all the on the internet, all these truths of videos, I've been interested because of all this shit, what that is. The real guys that distract, I'm almost like a mirror, a mirror to see what is going on in reality here. What is this, Behind the scenes mirror, because there's a lot of smoke in mirrors to confuse as to what's going on. So America was set to be destroyed. This is why, and this is no joke. 2001, September 11, 2001 was the setup. That was the smoking gun. That was the setup. The first attack to destroy America. And then run it down and gangsterism and everything, and destroy America. Through subtle subterfuge, so it's getting worse and worse, and then kind of gets destroyed. Because it's pretty hard to destroy America. How you do? It's too big of a land. There's no way to physically destroy it. They'll just rebuild. So you have to destroy it from the inside out with all these scams that they've done. And that's what Trump is angry about. And a lot of patriots are angry about. And there's no way to hide that. It's interesting. There's no way to hide that because you can see the corruption, you can see the gangsterism, you can see a lot of the different scandals that kind of run things down.
Is this going on a
I remember, when you export raw materials like steel and wood, lumber, especially steel, aluminum, raw materials overseas, you are helping to build up their infrastructure overseas. And also it's a great distance, so it's not very logical to really export. This is why, these people are, whatever, not these people, but that's why the international trade for large, think logical, international trade for large, heavy items does not work. It's so expensive to bring this large item over. They have their own logging, their own steel facilities over there. Why would they need to pay? Because look how heavy it is. You're paying $100,000 to get a piece of steel, which you have yourself for $1,000. Doesn't make any sense. So a country must produce its own products and all that kind of stuff. China is slowly taking ownership. China will slowly begin to own the United States unless I don't know, really. It's such a mixed thing. I think America should continue to prepare against a Chinese invasion, and physically, if it comes down to that, I think America should train its own people to make a citizen militia.
No, this is not good.
How come Iran does that? How come Brazil does that? Every country does that.
No, we have to do this in a very diplomatic way.
No, but China is moving forward very slowly and steadily. In about 15 years, I think they could stay in their area, but I think financially they're owning it. They're not militarily owning it. See what I'm saying? It's a lot of confusing things. I think that China is becoming the owner of. They're not physically attacking the land. They are a shareholder in America.
Yeah, you could say this.
That's what's going on. That's what's going on. So, in that respect, there's nothing to worry about, right? There's nothing to worry about because America is an international country as it is. America is an international country. There's people here came from all other places. There is no Americans or Native Americans really around. Native Americans is not existent. 0.001%, they're not a factor. There's Chinese people, German people, Mexican people that are American citizens. So it's a melting pot of people from everywhere. And in this manner, there is no nationalism. That's why it's actually true. United we stand. And divided we fall. Because these people uniting, kind of, that's what America is. So, but in that sense, America has no history, has no common culture. The culture of America literally is the Constitution. You see, that's why the bad forces don't like American revival. They don't like they don't like these patriots. They don't like the patriots, bar none, above everything else. The controlling financial controls or the elites, they do not really like. They don't really care since they get a lot of money, but they basically cannot get away with it. I mean, they didn't really like the patriot movement. And the patriot movement is actually, thanks to Trump and a lot of other patriots, the patriot movement is really a big thing. And, they want to make the patriot movement look like kind of a little bit more of a redneck thing, dumb, patriot movement. But it actually is, the patriot movement is kind of the Constitution. Because that's what the country stands for, the freedoms we have, the freedoms America has, the Constitution, that's really what, is behind the patriot movement. And they want to distract from these things. They don't want it to be discussed. It is very, very confusing since America has such a background of all different things. It's a mess. It's really confusing. Other countries have more sense of nationalism and a history of the country. We don't have that. Our history is actually a history of revolution. Our country's history is actually a history of diversity. It's actually a history of protecting our own country. But we got involved with wars, the World War I, the World War II, and it can be seen on the internet that it's a scam. That's very bad. But anyhow, stay away from this junk. These people are crazy. A lot of American people are really crazy. They're just gung-ho kind of people say, oh, hell no, man. If that comes to our country, we'll shoot the shit out of these guys. Don't worry about it. And so in that sense, that's good. There's also the international element with the international kind of, money controllers or whatever. This is all bullshit. It doesn't interest me. This is between me and maybe one friend of mine. So what is actually going on is that, with that evil stuff, is that it's a frequency weapon like a laser. It shoots this thing. It goes through buildings. It goes through stuff. It goes through buildings. It goes through fucking buildings, through walls, it goes through building, goes through metal, kind of goes through everything. And it could be one, it could be 2, 3, 4 of these things from different angles, all into the same point, like vectored into the same point. It's like it has kind of a frequency. It's a frequency, and it kind of goes through your body and vibrates at a certain frequency. And that frequency kind of pulses, because yes, like in the video said, and that one guy in the video said, and he's correct, that your body is 98% water. You've got bones, but other than that, everything is water. Your eyeballs are 90% water. It's kind of like in water, in liquid. If you cut yourself, there's red blood coming out. The blood is 90% water. It's water with the red color, some red blood cells. It's just 90% like a liquid blood. So your whole body has blood inside. The blood is like this water. This blood in other areas have not as much blood, kind of a yellow fluid, which is kind of the filter. And that yellow fluid is when you go to the bathroom, kind of the digestive system that goes out and kind of cleans that way. So what this stuff does is this little beams vibrate at a certain frequency. It could be a big broad beam, like a 10 by 10 foot wide beam. Beam hits your whole house, kind of. Or it could be smaller beam, maybe 6 inches in diameter, whatever, hitting your body, and it makes this frequency. And this kind of frequency is your cells cannot reproduce. It's an unhealthy frequency. And they've researched this. It can even kind of go through, kind of cut or damage the body, kind of push out the cells into the beam kind of pushes your cells out into places they shouldn't go, It gets pain, but the idea is actually it's a stealth weapon. Keep it under wraps. It's just for me and the one guy in the video. It's a stealth weapon. It happens while you sleep. It has no feeling. There's no feeling. Okay, it hits you with this beam. They can hit you with this fucking beam, and you would not know that it is happening. It's this stealth weapon. You don't know what's happening. You're sleeping deeply. Maybe you don't sleep very well because you're being kind of chemicalized and contaminated, but you don't realize it's very, very, very stealth. So by the time you wake up, but something ain't right. I feel like a heavy smoker. I've never felt anything like that. I never smoked, never drink alcohol ever in my life. I never drink coffee, I never drink alcohol, and I never smoked. And the other day they had some champagne at the birthday party or whatever, and it tastes bad. I mean, like Will Smith says, I mean, that shit is bad. Like, horrible. You eat this shit, it's just like a chemical. It's like drinking motor oil. It's disgusting. So, like a heavy smoker, constantly smoke all those chemicals and shit inside. It gets all into your blood, it gets into your lungs, and your lungs transport it through your blood molecules, through all your blood, all over your body. Has these chemicals and everything. You start coughing, you barely breathe. It's extremely unhealthy. So it's the same effect of these fucking things. It's this fucking stuff. Shoot this fucking beam, and it starts vibrating your molecules in the wrong way. It starts toxifying everything. And like people say, it's disruptive to the immune system. Since if you're not healthy, you're not healthy. It could come down with all kind of problems, coughing and joint pain, a lot of fat, pain in your body all over. It's disgusting. So that's what happens with these things. 2 or 3 of those from different directions all hitting you. Kind of vibrates at the wrong vibration. So it's kind of a vibrational frequency thing. Like, it's hard to describe. Your body has a certain natural calmness, and that's what it is, a natural calmness where everything works right. You can go to the restroom, everything works right, the cells are all happy, your blood is flowing around happy. But imagine this these electrical evil pulses. Now your blood doesn't flow anymore. It stops. It feels this horrible stuff, and it can't function. It just stops. It stops and breaks down. That's why your legs will be all heavy. They don't function anymore. You're trying to make them walk, but they're barely walking. You go to the bathroom. You pee blood. Everything is stops working. That's why your digestive system stops working. You can't go to the restroom. Number 2, you can't go to the restroom. Everything stops working. Well, you're being beamed like that. So it's incredible. It's a stealth weapon. Stealth. So you cannot feel it, but all of a sudden you can't go to the bathroom. Okay? All of a sudden you can't go pee-pee. All of a sudden you can barely walk. Okay, so it's a way to disable an enemy. It's a way to disable anyone. And it's very strange as to what happened. What is going on? What did you eat something bad? Did you fall down? What is it? It's very hard to figure out what it is. No one knows. It's a stealth device. And this video is only for me and the one friend. That's it. So we can figure out what the hell is going on. So if you do have a sensation, which is very strange, a strange sensation of a ringing in your ears, if you hear a very, 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 very high frequency kind of inside your ears, and you know you're not have no stress, you haven't been pressuring yourself, that there's no reason you should have that. So for all those operators out there, if you are feeling a ringing in your ears, you feel it, for anyone out there, you feel a ringing in your actual ears. In your ears you hear some very high-pitched kind of it could be FLIR, infrared, that is doing that to you. It could be microwaves, what that is. It could be any of these things. But in some format, this electrical energy field is pulsing, in your upper body there. And this is really true. If you're out in the middle of nowhere, Alaska or something, just a million miles away from any electrical source, then you're not going to have that ringing. You may have a different feel, like a doom, 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 doom. You can hear your heart pumping in your head. That's actually pretty healthy. You hear your heart boom, boom, boom. You can hear in your ears, your right. That you can hear the blood pumping through your ears. You can hear your heart pumping like boom, 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 boom. You can hear. That's pretty healthy. That's very good. So, but this is the exact opposite effect. It is this high-pitched ringing in the ears. That means that if you don't hear anything, there's nothing going on. You have none of the effect. You're not going to have any negative effects of that. But if you hear that ringing, you may be standing under an electrical pole. You may be standing near a Wi-Fi frequency box, one of these router boxes, Wi-Fi things, anything like that. So get out of the area if you hear that. Get to a lower position, kind of go into an underground thing, lower down, and listen. You hear a generator. You hear a generator or something that can have electrical. Swipe out your little meter and check if you're being irradiated. It's just like in Chernobyl, you can check and see the radiation. Yes, that's radiation. Radiation. You can check to see if you're being irradiated in some form, or have any kind of little bit of microwave frequency going through you, because it can disrupt your cellular activity, disrupts the process of your body functioning. So cannot afford to have that disruption. So get away from that area immediately. If it's a job related, you have to be there for a while with that stuff. Even that, don't use it. Find a different industry to be in. There's got to be something better to do that's actually something that hurts your health. So, you know what? Be careful with that. In the ears, you can hear it. I thought the forward-looking infrared was what makes that's why you get, kind of like over time getting, imagine taking an x-ray at the doctor and then, getting that again and again, over time it kind of, it causes some damage. So I thought the forward-looking infrared, that's what that is. When they shine the forward-looking infrared at you to see where people are at, where they're located, which is what these crooks do, these motherfucking, like, kind of criminals within the government or something. It's just crazy. Or within the police department, criminals within the police. It's just crazy what these criminals do. It's unbelievable. Anyhow, that's the forward-looking infrared. So when you feel that kind of pressure in the head, pressure in the body, pain, and the ringing in the ears, massive ringing in the ears. It's not like a little ringing in the ears, like, oh, maybe I'm imagining it. No, it's like zzz. I mean, it's like, there's something going on. Like you're being fucking electrocuted. It's not like, oh, I'm making it up. I'm just imagining it. Yeah, very funny. Jesus Christ. So I thought that was the forward-looking infrared, when they kind of shine it to see where people are at, and it has that effect on the other end, on the person. However, I don't think that is correct. I think that is not what that is. I think the infrared cameras are, from wherever the camera is at, it sees, it sees whatever is in the field around it, and there's no effect on the there's no effect on it. Doesn't, you're not kind of reaching out to any of the objects. It picks up the infrared information from, and there's no effect on it. It doesn't kind of beam out. These beams are is a different technology. These beams is a special kind of technology that is affecting the nanoparticles. So if you have the nanoparticles inside of you, and they kind of cluster into certain organs, or they go into your body in certain places, and the way you absorb the nanoparticles. If a chemtrail plane flies by and you're in a place where you have a lot of chemtrails, then it'll build up kind of from the air. You'll get it from the air. Then the skin will itch. Like, that's why the people talking about the skin itching, because the stuff is coming from the air, the clouds and smoke and dust and stuff like that. And then, okay, so I do things the old-fashioned way. I'll knock at the door. say hi, do things the old-fashioned way. I'm not going to use a phone. I'm not going to use a little secret thing and sneak up on you. That's why these people are creepy. They're creepy, they're illegal, they're doing horrible things. They're doing things they never should be doing. And they don't want to get found out. And they don't want their names known as to what they're up to. A criminal is a criminal. It doesn't matter if you're in some agency or if you're out on the street just trying to snatch someone's property, someone's, belongings or bags or whatever. A criminal is a criminal. But there is a gray area there because, people do things for money. People do things to acquire real estate and stuff like that. So, there's a lot of crime in society as far as people doing all kind of horrible things, working for bad things, and it's just a lot of evil shit. Okay, but anyhow, yes, these, the nanoparticles, if you've got the nanoparticles inside you, then this special beam, which can be fired like a laser, it goes pretty good distance. It's not going to go forever, but it's going to go a distance. Maybe it's not going to go a mile, but it maybe go 300 feet, maybe 200 feet, depending on the power of these things. And they have a type that can be hit directly to people. They have sonic weapons. This thing is basically kind of a sonic weapon, from my understanding. That it kind of somehow fires a pulse frequency laser kind of thing that goes a straight line and then, makes this kind of, has a certain frequency to it that when it hits a person, then that frequency vibrates through the person. This is why you get the ringing in the ears. And this frequency vibrating through the person, at that frequency that they can modulate, they can dial it in for pain, they can dial it in for go numb, they can dial it in for pleasure, the pleasure frequency, but that may be harder to do because it is, a pleasure frequency is a lower kind of positive, very low earth kind of vibration. It basically is this little beam that it can send around and kind of pulse at a super high frequency, kind of zzz, kind of like electroshocking the person, basically. And these particles are the activators of the beam. The particles are inside of the person, trying to get these particles into the person, then they can fire these things at you. And it was pretty unbelievable. I put the tablet computer, on my leg. I think it was yesterday or the day before yesterday. I put the tablet on my leg, on my left leg, and I felt a fucking pain like a knife. A fucking pain through my leg, completely through, from the tablet where the tablet sends out the Tesla electrical field. Because the tablet, they have this, they're connected via Wi-Fi, and there's a certain amount of that radiation coming off there. You can measure it with another tablet with the radiation meter. It has this area where that's where the sensor array, that's where the stuff radiates out from. So you put that over your leg. If you have these nanobots inside of you, and they've weakened you enough, then it sends pain directly through just a shooting pain. In less than 1 second, it was like, bzzz. I was like, holy shit. So a pain, just a horrible pain that comes through. And that shows you these nanobots, A, and B, these electrical frequencies and charges. This is unbelievable, this evil stuff. I think this stuff should be outlawed and made illegal, but due to the fact that it's very, very secretive and invisible, a lot of people can deny that it's even going on. Something that you can deny whether it's even real or not, it's not even real. So how can you make it illegal? If something is invisible, that you don't know it exists, how can you make it right or wrong or illegal or laws on it? You cannot. So that's interesting that this whole area of these frequency beams and weapons and stuff, it's actually an area that's probably going to be, at least for some time, kind of outside the law or outside any kind of regulation, which makes it very scary, very dangerous, a wild west of craziness, because you can't regulate something that is not there. You can't regulate something that's invisible. You cannot have any kind of guidelines on what shall be done and what cannot be done, or what shall be done with these things, or what cannot be done with these things, because you haven't even proved that they're real. It's just kind of a, for the average person, it's not, so it's kind of like sort of real, but, it's not conclusively, definitively real as to how much of that is going on and how much is not. But I think within the next 10 to 20 years, it'll be an era in which the stuff is, discussed more and coming out more about what these things are, as more mysterious illnesses occur and people say, I can feel from this fucking thing, and it's all kind of coming out because people don't want to be tortured, and they can notice that they're tortured by the stuff. So it's going to come out more in the next 10 to 20 years. And again, you can't really regulate something that doesn't exist. So it's kind of a wild west of those evil beaming things. But with sensors, the sensors show it. So the sensors show it. The radiation sensor, the microwave sensors, the different kind of sensors, and there's experts in the field. You have to call upon these experts in the field, and the experts in the field will have the device and can say, this is how much radiation is here and here. They can put it up to the device. So those experts in the field will, they know all about it. And I'm sure that those experts they'll try to scare those experts into shutting up. They'll try to pay off a lot of money. $100,000 for you if you just drop this whole case and stop talking about what these things do. $100,000. I mean, that would be a good idea if they would have done that for us. $50,000, and there's not going to be any commentary for the next 4 years. Sounds like a pretty good idea, but I don't think some of these guys are not that smart. They're kind of a little more on the dumb side, or some of them should be smart. Hopefully they'll be smart, come up with that kind of ideas. And so this is microwave frequencies and these fucking things. This is unbelievable, this fucking crap. Did you hear what I said? I bet it's a nice place to work. Look at the pool here. Da kann man filmmaking, you see, with some Freunde here. Look at the this Wasser here. Look at this shot with the palms. Wow. Yep. It's recording now. See? And then press.
Yes. Und jetzt it records. Und then another Stop. Press again.
Dann, wie lang du willst. Es geht länger und länger und länger. Wie lang du willst. Just point
Und
it
wenn
around.
ich stoppen will, wieder
Point it
auf
around like that.
denselben
Wie lang du willst. Okay, wie lang du willst. Wenn du endlich dann fertig bist, okay, machst du starten. Das machst du so. Now it's recording, see? Now look, the way you can prove it's recording is on the lower right side, you see? You see the numbers counting right there?
Yeah.
You see the numbers
Okay.
counting up there?
Yeah, I
It
see
says now
it.
10 seconds.
Let's go from the beginning
See,
again.
See, 10 seconds.
Let's go from the very beginning. I turn it off now. Right?
It's easier for you.
Now it's working, right? Now it's working, then it's okay. This is
There you go.
Now it's recording. Now it's recording.
Start.
Now it's recording.
Yeah, it's recording.
Now it's
Start recording. Now it's recording. Recording, stop recording.
put it noch einmal zu dem
All right, thank you. We want to thank you for that song.
See, you start, you see the red light is recording. That's nice, huh? It shows you recording.
And when I turn it off now,
Turn off.
just here, this,
Again?
2 times.
Again? No, you didn't press it hard so it goes.
The
Yeah.
2 lines means it's taping.
I said you can look at the lower right hand corner and see, what does it say there? 7.
I don't see it.
Well, look a little bit closer.
I cannot see it ohne meine Brille.
Oh, we'll go closer to your eyes.
Good. How do I... When I
What's wrong
tape,
with you, man?
I don't see the numbers. Now,
What are you talking about?
when I...
Oh, wait a minute. Let me take a look. There's a red light when it's recording also.
All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That will conclude Head Whistle Carrier Special. Austin LeBlanc, he would like to say thank you. They did the best they could. He wants everyone to know that they gave what they could and they did the best that they could do. And they want the good health and happiness for Jim as well and for everyone here to enjoy yourself for the rest of the power.
How do I... aus jetzt. Das ist jetzt eine Pause im Moment.
Oh, it says that's the entrance. Oh, that is the entrance right there. Okay, so the reptiles is there. We went down this way. There's the model train exhibit. And then, where's the thing with the lorikeets? Ostrich? Sheep? Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Butterfly garden, human gardens. There's a lot of gardens here. There's a lot to see here. We can come many more times and see everything. Okay, of course. Of course, all the leaders, they want to be seen, you know? That there's the greatest guy. We're helping the kids. We get free food and everything. Of course, they want to be seen that they're doing great things, they're wonderful leaders and everything, because who would follow a leader who's not the greatest, right? So they want to be seen that they're the greatest, that they're moving the country forward and everything like that. And here's Hitler. Here we go, the seal, the Great Seal, President, United States, the seal of the got the olive branch probably.
Are you a dozen?
Branch.
Are you a dozen? Oh, no. I just wonder why this rod is coming out here. Is this like...
Because today, the New World Order cult of today is definitely a technology-driven, it's a technology-driven New World Order cult. Technocracy. It is empowerment through technology. Technocracy. Because remember, with the New World Order stuff, there is no religion. They're not starting a religion. Okay? Or You could say their religion is money and technology, and that everybody, have all these fancy cars, and it's technocracy. Have a car and your cell phone and everything. It's technocracy. So the New World Order is a continuation. It's the same thing as the Hitler movement, the swastika movement. The swastika movement was technocracy. It was a movement of empowerment through technology. That's what the symbol means. The symbol means the outstretching, these 4 outstretching arms of technology, of grabbing more land and using the power of technology to control it. That's what the Hitler logo means. It has these 4 arms going outward like that one. There's one there, there's one there, and there's one there. 4 arms of technology encompassing and going ever wider, controlling larger areas using technology. And that was the logo of the Hitler movement. So most people didn't even understand that they were fighting under the banner of that. And in many ways that's true, because during the war, this pushed the technology further. By the time World War II was over, we had jet aircraft, 500 miles per hour. At the beginning of the war, there were propeller planes, canvas and wood, and propeller planes. So, in many different senses, the technocracy and the swastika logo, in different senses, it was true. At the end of the war, the technology was much more advanced. The roads were everywhere, laid roads from the west coast to the east coast, from New York to LA, from the east coast to the west coast. Roads and the ever-expanding technology and civilization moving forward. So anybody that really knows that when civilization moves forward, this is not a good thing. The civilization moving forward is not a good thing. It is an extremely evil thing. Imagine the amount of people that are crushed and killed in the process. Look at the expansion of the railroads from the east of the United States to the west, with the Chinese laborers and the African American laborers. Hundreds or thousands were probably killed in the making of it. As far as it's not a peaceful movement, it's not a religious movement, it's not a love and peaceful movement. It is a technology, it is a technocracy, it is, in most cases, a slave driving, like slave working these people, the way that Hitler also did with the Jewish, working the Jewish in these camps in many cases in slave conditions. So it's not a, working and employing by force is not a loving, peaceful thing. Like work camps, slave driving, like the Africans worked with slaves, slavery, beating them and whipping them and killing them if they didn't do what they're supposed to do. So all of this is actually and the German Arbeit macht frei, to work the Jews to death and stuff like that. These are extremely evil things. So when they say progress in the name of technology, in the name of progress, that's always very evil stuff. Very, very evil stuff. What you want and what most people want is the exact opposite. And I think it's probably important to say that, or as far as everybody can follow what you want. Some people want to go to Florida and study boats. Some people want to go to Vegas and make money. Some people want to go to go to Egypt and study the pyramids. Whatever. But whatever, to each his own. But we could say that what we're interested in is the opposite of this power-forward moving technocracy, the opposite, which is a life of leisure and relaxation and happy work. So work, and then once you have a nice leisure environment where there's not a slave-driven work kind of thing, it's just lay around, be happy, then that is conducive to now you can really go to work and get a lot done and make a lot of money under positive leisure conditions. The environment is nice, like not a work and all the cars and all the fucking the traffic signals to green and to red and all that kind of stuff. So it's the exact opposite of what we're going to sit there. But definitely, that's what's going on. Yes, it must have been definitely a movement of empowerment through technology, because at that point, early electronics were coming out, and they were making early electronics like radar, sonar, and gunsmithing, making guns, making knives, stuff like that. So the craftsmanship. Remember, they manufactured that. Germany manufactured the tanks and vehicles for the first time. Because during World War I, it was just the beginning of tanks and stuff like that. The beginning of the machine gun. So it was literally empowering the people to both, use the technology, but also make the technology. Factories, and a lot of people worked in the factories, making ammunition, making guns, making vehicles, tanks, all that stuff. Now, you cannot do that. You cannot make that technology unless you are, mathematically inclined, science, math, and technology, know how to build and use technology and machines and stuff like that. You can't just have people from Central Africa or from South America or whatever, just like Aborigines or whatever, making advanced tanks, advanced weaponry, advanced machine guns, and aircraft and stuff like that. You need major scientists. A lot of it was about aircraft also, because they realized that the way you win wars in World War II era, it was through the aircraft, and also the way you look up to the aircraft. You really look up to the aircraft sitting at the runways, and people look up to that. They're ready to fly and learn this advanced stuff in the sky, and this is how you fly. A lot of people do look up to that. So they definitely took advantage of that. The Luftwaffe. So that was what it got, technocracy. You can't just, and it's technocracy. You can't just have a bunch of Native Americans just, making clay pottery, it's much more advanced than that. Build a vehicle, you need a starter, which is a factory that makes starters. You need a distributor, you need tires, you need wheels, you need the undercarriage of the vehicle, the frame, the body, the rotating parts, all these different pieces. You got to be incredibly technology and have factories to make that, and organized, and it's technocracy. That's why it really does make sense, and that's why it makes sense, the logo, and the Illuminati at that time chose the logo very carefully. That's exactly the right logo. It really shows that what that exemplifies what that is, because the Germans were more advanced than the others with technology. The Panzer tank, the Panther tank, amazing tanks, much more advanced than the others. So that symbol, it shows the technology, the top of the line, sophisticated technology. I also like the Japanese flag, and the imperial flag of the Imperial Japanese Navy today. This shows this technocracy. It stands for Japan, very intelligent. It stands for this high tech, super intelligent, super high tech, very efficient type of people, engineers. In essence, engineers. Developing and imagine building a tank and building different types of tanks and advanced machine guns and stuff. It's not Native Americans spinning pottery in clay pottery, or Africans going, oh, whoa. It's not that. These people are doing math and science, blueprints, and the Hall of Records, all the blueprints and different pieces, and very, very, very advanced engineering work. Putting the stuff into use and driving the tank, that's nothing compared to building it. That's the fun part. So, and that's some of the hidden culture. It must have been very much fun for these Nazi guys and the others too. Well, I think probably more than Nazis, since they started it more than the others. They had a love for the tank, the craftsmanship, the weapons, building them and stuff, and also the way they painted the vehicles, the aircraft and stuff. They painted it. Really cool paint jobs. The best paint jobs are the Luftwaffe, and they had better paint jobs than the British and the others. The others did it as a counterattack. The Nazis were the ones that started the war against France and against Poland, and then England, and then more and more. And so the other guys were counterattacking. They were doing it because they had to, and because everybody was being attacked, they had to. So keep in mind that specialization. Everybody's specializing a little bit. So, because of the great distances, it turns into, it's kind of more specialization. One person just does the driving, the great distance to work, and then the other family members are at home. They don't go with him to work. And this is often the case. The one person goes great distance to work, and the others don't. And they could manage the house, they could write the checks for the bills, and the checks and bills, they can write that, and then do shopping. So if they have a car for the secondary people in the household, right, the wife and kids, then their job could be going with the car to do shopping, right, get some food, right, and stocking the food in the house. That could be their job. And usually also, if you were to drive with someone else in the car, like a business partner or something, which would happen probably rarely, but, it's very good to be friends with the person and like the person and know exactly, you work with the person in a very harmony. You work in harmony with them perfectly, very nicely, and you like the way they do things and everything. When you're dealing with someone who's incompetent, like in your case, or doesn't know how to drive, or freaks out, or it's just you're not in harmony with the way the commute works. And it's basically called flow, F-L-O-W, the way the flow of the commute works. So if you're in harmony with that, then you know how to do it perfectly and easy. It's easy. It's easy. But if you have someone who doesn't know how to do that, constant problems, or is confused, and this is not a commute here, this is just like you're not familiar with the place or whatever, so it's confusing for you. But if you don't know how it causes a lot of problems or a difficult commute, then it's difficult. It's very hard to do. Stress is higher and it's more difficult to do. But the thing with America is that it is freedom. Like, it's all based around the automobile. It's based around the car, right? It's based around the car. The car is what gives people freedom and success. It's the automobile.
Yeah.
That's what it is really. Yeah, that's what it used to be that American success was the white picket fence with the house, right? Not anymore. In the modern age, success in America is defined as your car. Having the car, because you could take that anywhere. You could go to the market, go working, go training, go anything with that car. That's what defines the success. That's what, the car is running well and proud car, this is what defines your success.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that way. There's some people who like taking the bus and they're sick of all the commuting and all the driving. They don't want to do that anymore. So they just take a short walk to the bus station. They have a routine and the bus takes them, or the light surface rail, or they go by foot, or whatever, a friend or a carpool or whatever, other options. But for most people, it is the car that gives you freedom, right? Gives you the freedom to go anywhere, do anything, freedom. And with that freedom, some people have taken advantage of it. They go too far, right? It becomes too much of a commute. Millions of cars on the road constantly. It's too much. It's too much of all that. Mm-hmm. But the interesting thing is with the efficient cars these days, there's ways, people have ways out. If you don't want to do it, the commuting, you don't have to do it. You could be close to home locally more, and not drive after city and city and city, but you could be within your own one zip code or within your one town. That makes it a lot easier to get to work within your own town there, rather than getting to work, after 2 or 3 hours of driving just a great distance. It's crazy. So such a great distances are very hard. To drive the great distances, it becomes very challenging and very hard. And it's not recommended. It's only for truck drivers. So truck drivers really are the ones who do that great distance. I think that they should have a new job category. It's called commuting, someone to help plan your commutes. Because
carpooling if they live.
it's the same distance. It's still a great distance. The idea is to make your commute smallest as possible commute, a short commute, not a large, massive commute. But there's a lot of people that do it, and really they should not. They shouldn't do it. It's detrimental to themselves and everything. But they should live close by where you're working. And then they release the information from the Minister of Propaganda. So, and then, they release the information out. This is very different. This is an open freedom system where anyone can ask questions, and you don't have to answer, but anyone can ask questions about any subject. And that means, you have different points of view about all kind of things, and you can bounce around questions. It may be hard to get your question in, but if you open up a question and maybe there's some discussion about that and thoughts about that. So there's many reporters over there at the White House asking questions. What's going on with the migrant crisis? What was that? The migrant, what is this migrant caravan? Are they trying to get into the country? Are they protesting? What is this migrant caravan? How come there's so many people making a caravan like that? Is it being funded with money? So these are questions that they may ask. And there's many reporters there. Many people who are asking questions. So if that shows that checks and balances on the system, that there are people covering and asking what is going on. So if one of them, like CNN, is not liked, there's nothing wrong with saying you're banned, you can't come here, we don't want to talk to you, or maybe it just in this one instance, he was just, he just wanted to have his way and ask his question. But it might have been a little rude for Trump not to even allow him to ask the question. But he could say no comment, or he could say, I don't know really what that was. But it looked like that Acosta was trying to ask a question. But Trump knows that the CNN he doesn't like CNN. He just doesn't like it, and he didn't want to. I don't want to talk to you with the CNN. It's bullshit. Get out of here. I don't like seeing it. And he just, and the Acosta continued, no, I just want to ask my questions, The woman tried to take the microphone away from him, and he held onto the microphone and said, no, don't take it from me. And then the woman is kind of like, oh my God, he wants to hold on to his microphone. And then Trump is walking around like, no, I don't want to talk to you. Go out. Just fucking, what the hell? Get out of here. I don't want to talk to you. Acosta. Get out of here. Just walking around like I'm the man. and then finally, eventually, like he gave the microphone away or something. I don't know. I think maybe there should be a little more fairness. Maybe that each person who asks the question gets 2 minutes to ask the question, and at least he can ask the question. You get actually 2 minutes. And then if you have 2 minutes, that you have 2 minutes. After the 2 minutes, that's it. The question is up, and then you can answer, or you could say, we're not handling those kind of questions right now. You could just say you're not answering. We're not handling that issue at all. Next question. Or you could say, this is the situation with the migrant caravan. We have military posted there, and they're keeping an eye on it in case it gets violent.
Can I ask you something? Can I look at...
So I think probably over there a little bit more fairness is needed. Probably too. Oh, and they say that military intelligence is the guys who are. Military intelligence is behind the American revival. American revival meaning, save America. Right? Don't let it go down in flames. Shouldn't be burning. Shouldn't be attacked and destroyed and dismantled FEMA camps and everything. So they say that military intelligence is behind, is pro, pro Save America, and pro Q, and the Q guy is related to that military intelligence, and that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. But beware of individuals or people that may be paid sums of money to within just individuals within some of these organizations or whatever, which are paid sums of money to do terrorist attacks, blow up bridges, shoot nightclubs, and they have some of that going on. Some of these are false flags and stuff. There's a lot of conspiracy there. Some conspiracies, that kind of thing, make false flags. But basically, at the White House, I think, regarding that, I think you should have 2 minutes for anyone to ask questions. Okay, you get 2 minutes. So after your 2 minutes is up, that's it. You can just say, we're not commenting on that next question. Forget about that guy completely. Forget about the comment completely. Or you can answer. Did you know there was a scandal where, at the White House, where the Acosta, Jim Acosta from CNN was talking to Trump? And Trump said, no, I don't want to talk to you, CNN.
Oh, was this just recently?
Recently? This year, recently. Or recently.
No,
yeah. And then, because Trump doesn't like CNN. He thinks CNN is fake news. He doesn't like CNN.
Yeah.
And their stuff, it's liberal. It's just kind of superficial media. Like, what are you supposed to put on TV, And this Acosta guy didn't want to give up the microphone. He wanted to ask his question. I understand his point of view.
I remember. I have heard about it.
He held the microphone, and the woman took the microphone away, and he said, "No, I'm holding." She said, "Oh my God!" There was a little scuffle between the woman and the.
I remember now.
And then Trump came out and walked like this, parading himself like fucking serious. Get out of here.
Later that he has the right to stop when he doesn't want to talk.
Exactly. He doesn't have to, yes, he doesn't have to answer that stuff of the CNN. He doesn't like CNN. He considers it a propaganda.
I looked at the channel in our unit up here, at the channel 58, when they bring, I think, no, it's the channel 2, CNN. There's a guy in Weißhaariger, Anderson or what?
Oh, that guy's been there forever.
Wow, he is so liberal.
Oh, he's been the CNN. And they know this. The people that make those programming, they know that, right? They know that if you turn on CNN, that's who you listen to. And guess what? If you listen to this guy for an hour, right, Anderson Cooper, then what do you talk to your friends? You start talking exactly like what you listen to. Am I right? The psychology starts going on to you. They know that. They study this.
And scheinbar Fox is
Right?
conservative.
I don't think Fox is maybe more conservative. But what I'm saying now is that when you listen to whatever they're saying, whatever they're working on, and then you talk to your friend, you tend to this goes into you, and now you start talking like them. If you're easily, if you're unless you're really savvy and smart, then you start saying, oh my God, this guy's full of it, and you switch to something else. So you have to be savvy and smart to cut through the bullshit. Otherwise, you start listening to this guy, and now when you talk to your friend, you talk just like this guy. It's a propaganda subliminal that goes into your mind, and they want to make everyone liberal, and and these values.
There is sogar a group, I don't know if you heard it. They are pressing that
Liberal
California
values.
be separated.
Okay, so the kind of movie I want to make is the flat. It's called I call it the flat movie. So now go from there to the chairs. Ein bisschen schneller oder mehr interessant machen. From the chairs to the trash can. Bisschen schneller. Mit more gusto. It's an amazing movie. Hurricane Express.
You call it hurricane. I mean, you call it flat.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the idea, or that's the main idea. That's this interesting idea. The idea is to create an alternate civilization. It's the same civilization, but it's built on an alternate. It's very, very obvious and very rugged and reliable. It's built on an alternate way of functioning, an alternate way of traveling and doing business. So you got the one civilization now, which is based obviously on cars, and that's what it's based on, cars and trucks and everything like that. And that's the civilization in which we're living in now. Living in cars and industrialization everywhere, going great distances, massive distances. So the idea is to build another civilization. It's just, there's nothing really to build. It's just built based upon walking on foot. Okay? So if you want to go to the grocery store, instead of getting into a car, turning it on, backing it out of the thing, and going all the way down to the entrance of the thing, and then... So the point is that the alternate civilization is just, instead of having to drive blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks to find a market and a store, the alternate civilization is...
How do I get this?
Okay. The idea is that I don't know if the world is ready for aliens and UFOs. Apparently, it's been 50 years. They say 50 years of disclosure. But whether you're ready for it or not, it's out in the open on the internet. This stuff is completely... these videos are there. The videos are all out in the open. So this community idea of making this alternate community has nothing to do with exposing advanced technology, has nothing to do with showing the truth about, revealing the truth about Antarctica, or has to say, is the Earth flat, is the Earth round, is the Earth pear-shaped. It has nothing to do with any of that crap. All of that stuff should be balled up in a ball and put into the paranormal. It's called paranormal. So put into the paranormal. That's on the internet. It's not in the real world. That stuff is on the internet. I mean, you don't really go up to your manager and say, hey, is the world flat or is it pear-shaped? It has nothing to do with our normal life. I mean, it may alter your reality, your thinking a little bit, but what is it really gonna, if the shape of the world is different, what is it really, how is it really gonna change your world of your work? It doesn't give you a new car, a new truck. It has nothing to do with reality. It's a theoretical debate that is, for people who have too much time on their hands, kind of a theoretical debate, but, it's not actually going to pay your bills or really change anything. What they're afraid of is they're afraid of people's mind expanding and opening into a different consciousness, and then the person is not just an average person. The person now makes more demands of their government, or I don't know what it is. I mean, how much, it just kind of changes people's perception a little bit. It changes your perception maybe a little bit. I'm saying that the issue with the Agenda 21 and what they're trying to do, the elite are thinking about this, and a lot of it, they're trying to kill off people, they're trying to make the roads smaller, they're all kind of stuff like that. So, what it is a secondary civilization initiative. That's what it should be called. Because there's all kind of people like on the internet peddling all this fucking crap about, show the truth about Antarctica. Finally, the truth about Antarctica will be revealed. That's those guys doing that. That has nothing to do with us. That's those fucking Antarctica, whatever, truthers or whatever. That has nothing to do with us. That's a different thing. The idea is to find a real solution in the real world for the industrialism and issue. For the cars and traffic and gigantic commutes with no way out but just keep driving, and you'll make it. And that, all the industrialism issue. And the answer to this is not to curtail the industrialism, not to curtail the cars and the people. The idea is to make an alternate system which functions, an alternate system which is attractive, an alternate system which actually works. And that alternate system is a completely alternate system. It means you don't touch your car, you don't use your car. You're now on foot, walking on foot into your community. So you can have little pathways, like painted, another idea, a little pathway with like a line painted on the ground. And it can say, can be called community civilization. You can call it community civilization. You can call it community civilization pathway. The government is going to love this. They love that stuff because that means less cars on the road. Nobody's driving their car. They're doing this instead. So it has a little line on the ground, like in a hospital or like in a theme park. Has a line on the ground, or the college. Some colleges have this, or military have a line painted on the ground. It says, "Alternative civilization." It has a little writing there. like a dolphin logo, and it says alternative civilization. So now you just walk along this pathway, and then over there maybe there's a little store, kind of like a little a bazaar kind of store, like a bazaar, a little thing there, like a guy that has a little trading booth, some food there or whatever, and a little lemonade stand. Then you walk along more, then there's a thing with bicycles lined up. You can chain up your bicycle there, so you can pick up your bicycle from there and go down along the river. There's maybe a woman over there with a dog breeding kennel right there. Get all the dogs in there, and somebody drops off their dog, and she's going to look after the dog during the daytime. Meanwhile, then you can walk and get your groceries. There's a little market over there, and so the point is, it's an alternative civilization. The point of the alternative civilization is to get away from your car and to ditch the car. Get away from the car. Forget about the car. Ditch the car. You know? Because in some places, especially this place here, the distances are so far that people get addicted to the car, and it goes on, and you're driving further and further, and now it's kind of like you're burning up just gallons and gallons and gallons of gasoline. It seems that there's no hope. You're just driving on and on and on, and it just feeds into more industrialism, more cars, and that leads into people anger. That leads into they want to give up their job. They're antisocial. The drive-by shootings, all these things because of so much. The gangsters, or the car accidents, and more freeways. It all leads to all this over-industrialization. And it does give people freedom, because you can get in your car and go to any place you want to go to, anywhere. Go to the woods, go anywhere you want. But the point is that people have nothing but that. They have nothing but that. They have no other way to survive. So they're completely dependent upon the car. They go back in the car, and they're back in the matrix again, into the grid of freeways and roads. And the point is that is not actually, it's not actually a healthy way to live. It's just like, it makes you like a machine, like you know exactly how to run your car, and everything revolves around keeping your car going, keeping your car alive, and a lot of people are great mechanics, and they keep their car going. I'm going, man, I know what I'm doing, I got my car, I got my thing, I'm filling in my coolant or whatever, I'll make it, and it's dehumanizing. It's not a human thing. It's just like, because it's a machine, and all this machines, and it's also very self-centered. It's very individualistic. To one person with his car, and the other people, get out of here. I don't want to see you. That's my car, my rules. Get out of here. So it becomes very individualistic. It's just a theoretical debate. And also, I learned how to make, like when you make movies and filmmaking and movies and stuff, it has to be kind of exciting. You make these film projects, it has to be kind of not so slow and academic. It has to be kind of fast and exciting to be like a film project. So with a discussion, it could be kind of a fast and exciting discussion, as long as this is not any kind of top secret discussion. It's just a theoretical idea. So it's okay to make it like an entertainment thing. It's entertainment, but it's also an interesting discussion of an idea. So this is a very creative idea. There are very creative, amazing, intelligent and creative things on the internet, which are, the amount of creativity with all these truth or videos it's unbelievable. So, but this is putting it into practice. How come nobody's put this into practice? Now, some places have a real civilization, but some it's so over-industrial, so many cars everywhere that going out into your own community is like a fucking living hell. You're overrun by a million cars going by. You don't even want to go there. So it depends on where you're at. Some communities, like Palm Springs, is actually a nice place to be. It's actually a nice community. You can actually, walk around in Palm Springs, and there are grass lawns, and you can have a good time. And it's not like millions of cars everywhere, and you can't even walk. So so you just have to get to a nice community. Go to a nice community that's nice, and then there you're happy. And you can drive around there.